I need to watch out for this people holding his angle. Oh my word!
Still forced to swing and does do so with an updraft Wolverine. Not expecting the second one there. Lewis Snow with the blade storm is going crazy.
Drop down the operator and pick up the vandal. Last round and care. He is not able to get anyone as the counter flash is there. And but the deadlock tries to steal his teammate away, but he's gonna be surviving immediately with the team play card. He's just gonna deal some damage, but he's gonna be easily taken out. And OOT just way too aggressive. Yeah.
Oh, I see the vision.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Reyna's $1,000 tournament. We have got an exciting matchup happening for you now. We are going to be having BABO Gaming versus VNR. It's all to play for, it's the battle for the top, and you're going to be casted by me and Veggie Hot... Veggie?
Qualification! Qualification! I just don't know what it is. It keeps coming back to this one matter. Qualification is the word. VNR, BABO, Elysian, it all just comes back to qualifications. No, I can't quite figure it out, but everywhere I look, qualifications in the post, qualifications on the wall, 3 teams, no one can separate it. I'm losing goddamn mind, Snow. Qualification. Who's going to win?
Calm down. Veggie, calm. It's okay, Veggie. Veggie, listen here, we'll sort it out. Let's talk about it, okay? It's BABO Gaming versus VNR. Okay, it's not that complicated. If BABO wins, they get over Elysian. If VNR wins, BABO is knocked out of playoffs, okay? It's not that complicated. It's alright, Veggie. You can calm down.
But there's just qualification everywhere.
No, Veggie, put the whiteboard down. Veggie, put the whiteboard down. Okay. We understand. It's about the qualification. That's what we're here to witness. It's alright. It's going to be a hype matchup. Veggie, keep yourself calm. Okay? You better now? Take a few deep breaths. Take it in with me. And out. Okay, good. Take a drink.
Okay.
How are you doing, buddy? Are you okay now?
You're going to have to just bear with me. It's been a tense day. I've been in the kitchen all day trying to figure out what this is all about. We have 2 teams playing tonight, obviously, like you said, BABO Gaming versus VNR. And now the third team, Elysian, in the mix. All ready to go top of the table, as Odson Edward once said. Top of the table, ready to go through it, but there's head-to-head differences. There's round differentials. It's coming...
No, Veggie, it's okay. Let me break it down to you for all of you guys watching. It's not as complicated as Veggie's making it, due to the fact that VNR's pretty much been stomping the majority of Group A. They've got such a high round difference. It pretty much comes down to this. VNR gonna be secured. There's pretty much mathematically no real scenario, even if BABO were able to win 2 13-0s, that VNR is knocked out of playoffs. It's become a situation where it's between Elysian and BABO. It's a mix between those two as to who's in. Elysian is hoping that BABO loses this so that they can keep their playoff spot. BABO, obviously, if they win this, they should be through because the round difference and also the game difference should pull them up, because I believe the head-to-head at that point won't matter because it's a 3-way tie. It gets a bit complicated, but at the end of the day, BABO needs to win, and Elysian needs VNR to win.
I wish you were in my kitchen all day, because my white kitchen is now just circled in pencil everywhere. It looks like a school child's been at home. Like, you know, when the parents leave and they have the crayons just writing all over the walls. That is my kitchen just now, and when the missus comes back, I'm sure I'm going to be in trouble. But she'll understand. It's a BABO Gaming, VNR, Elysian 3-way at the top of the table, and we need to figure out the maths.
Yeah, I mean, the maths is definitely going to be cooking this game, and I know you and your weakness with maths, Veggie, so This is going to be a difficult one. We'll leave it to the admins to sort out, but what we can sort out is kind of the matchup itself, because... And regardless of what happens after the match, we still have to talk through the match, and that is BABO playing against VNR. Both these teams have been absolute amazing teams to watch. VNR has been just stomping this group, as I said before. 56 round difference overall. Pretty much all the games they won, they have just been clapping their opponents. And it's put them in such a good spot that they now just can't be knocked out.
Yeah, we see the other matches on screen at the minute. Oasis Verde beating Revolut 2 as well. The other game that's going on, TSC versus AGC, is the Secret Club. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that one, see if they come through. But I believe the rest of the groups are now all decided, especially coming off of Coalesce winning as well. So just to confirm that one, as you can see, Group A, the match that we are going to be watching tonight, is the only contender left to be spoken for.
Yeah, all of the other groups already have their matchups. Like you said, Coalesce was the one last confirmation from Group C. So it's all down to this matchup to see who is going to be in those playoff spots. And it's very rare that you kind of get the last match being the decider for where these teams are going to seed and place. So it's quite exciting, Reg, that we get to kind of have that as our finish-up match of the day.
Yeah, I love when it comes down to Trophy Sunday, as it's called in football, when the helicopter's making its way to one stadium and all of a sudden it's shipped off to another one. That could be either of these three teams ready, waiting to qualify for the next stage, and then, oh, no, sorry, didn't happen. Someone's pulled it off in the last second. But I'm excited, like you said, to see both of these teams bring it up, and they have a lot to play for, a lot to fight for, to make sure they can cement their place in those playoffs.
And I think for me, it kind of comes down to, for Babos, have they fixed some of these issues that saw them take losses earlier? Obviously, they lost to Elysian, who is currently above them in the table. So it's scary for them, because the maths that we used when we casted yesterday, Veggie, Elysian beat Babos and Veneer beat Elysian. So mathematically, with how it trickles down, Veneer should be set to pretty much eliminate Babos right here. But with any hope, they fixed the issues that they had before that garnered them that one loss. And then they come through strong. Maybe they take out a Veneer that already knows they're secured, maybe isn't taking the game as seriously, especially it being the last one before playoffs, and they can catch them sleeping a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Use the same logic in reverse. And here we can see the previous fixtures that brought us to this stage. Babos Gaming were 1-0 up in their last match, and then it went about 1-0, which is where it got a little bit tricky right at the end of yesterday. And they did manage to bring that third map back and win that 2-1, which is exactly why we are in this situation. The rest of the scores, the big one that matters there, like I said, is Coalesce winning at 2-0 as well to secure their place as the second team to qualify from their group.
And I think it's always like, it's good to have this roundup where we've seen all these round robins come through. The groups has now kind of been decided. This is going to be the last matchup that leads into it. And you start to think about those playoff matchups, the discussion of what's going to happen after this. But in terms of Babos versus Veneer, Veg, I know you're the man with a plan. Is there any key players that you're kind of looking out for in this matchup, or you're still off the hype of yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, coming through it, you look at Babos in general, a new team coming into the Reynas, although they do have Devon, who's their IGL, but who has been in the tournament previously, coming from INF Esports. So they have someone that they can kind of rely on, that knows the territory, has been here before. And then if you wanted to flip that onto the side of Veneer, once again, another brand new team to the Reyna line, like you said, top of the group with 8 points. Jamal Balls and LSR are who we've probably highlighted through the prod room as the key players, as people that can really be relied on by the team to get them through into the next stage.
And with that in mind, you speak about these key players. I know that we've seen quite a difference in terms of how the teams like to play in the other groups. We have teams that are very individual, rely on these key players to carry them through. Are you expecting a similar kind of style in this, or are you expecting more of that team play? I can imagine for Veneer, with a team being as strong as it is, you don't get that far without that combo utility that we've seen be so effective for other teams.
Yeah, I'm expecting a strong team performance, specifically from Veneer, rather than playing out as the individuals. There's a few players in that roster that have played together before. And I mean, we were speaking about this way back in the green room, that there's actually a few players in that come from AVG, a broadcast that was like right at the start of my casting career almost. Yeah, literally ancient. Like 2 years ago, headed up, that we've seen these players competing through the scene. So there's a really strong competing element in that side of Veneer that will be used to it. So yeah, I think a lot of play will come in.
And not only that, it's you spoke about the key factor. You spoke about these people having played in AVG. It's that experience factor as well. This isn't just the first tournament they're playing. No real rookies there that aren't used to playing for the money. These are teams that have been through the beacons, that have been through those high pressure games. So especially in a match like this, where while it might not matter as much for them, they really want to make a statement. They want to come out of that group as the first seed. I think it's very important for them to kind of stamp down their mark, finish off this group with a perfect record, and show their strength going into playoffs.
Yeah, and I think what is going to be absolutely crucial to that is the map vetoes, right? That depending on what maps we're going to be seeing and heading into depends on how big a team play that they'll focus on. Is it one of these maps that come through? And I'm really interested to see where we go to. Are we going to get some banger maps like we did last night? Or are we going to stick to the boring old kind of ascents and breezes? We'll wait to find out. But that first ban of Icebox takes away some of the agent composition that we quite like to see, but also not the end of the world.
And it's difficult because if you're BABO Gaming, what do you even pick into VNR? They've never lost. You can't really turn around and be like, oh yeah, maybe we ban this. We should go for this map that they're a bit weaker on. They haven't seen any weak maps so far.
I think they should pick Abyss. Sorry, I was raising my hand like I was in school there. Yeah.
Okay.
Given the option, I think they should pick Abyss, the new map that's coming out into the rotation.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be the smart choice because no one knows it, right? It's not even been released. That gives you the best chance if you actually head into the Abyss.
Okay, so you're saying that they hint to the Riot testing realm and they pick Abyss, and that's what we play on for today. But it's not quite going to be Abyss. With Icebox split banned out, we do bring ourselves over to Sunset. It's a map that I quite like. A lot of kind of contested opinions. I feel like this one kind of comes out a little bit like Marmite. Some people love it, some people hate it. I feel like the CS community, if you're a former CS player, normally they like Sunset.
Listen, hate it or love it, the Dawn's on top. Sunset is a great map. Team Heretics run it all the time, and that just proves it. If the best team in the world are playing it, it's clearly the best map.
Okay. Well, we'll see if they're the best team in the world, if they can win the tournament. They got knocked into the lowest, buddy, so get over it already. But we just said, look, then we have to see what kind of the pick for VNR comes out and turns out to be. But Sunset yourself, Veggie, anything that you might be looking out for in terms of compositions? Any spicy picks? I know a certain one that you've seen a couple times that you might like.
I'm going to surprise you, Sage. I think Sage is... Yeah. And I know you weren't expecting that. Yeah, I think Sage can be very cool. There's a lot of teams running that, especially my beloved PRX are always running it, and it can find a lot of success. But another map that I don't want to see Sage on, and has been a heated topic at the minute, is Lotus. If we transition across to the second map that's been picked over by VNR, it would be that Lotus. And I think you can almost get away with running similar comps on both sides. You look at like Breaches, Goes, Jets, etc. But yeah.
Are you just sad because you just saw that it was going to be a Centres of final? Yeah, I just saw you stop talking and just sigh and look down for a second. It's always the way when we see in a Centres of final map, but it's not. I think it's one of those maps where people hate it a lot, at least in terms of production side, but it is at least one where you know that it's normally going to be a close match because every team is confident on it. Every team has their set strats. The protocols are normally the same for most of these teams. And sometimes, just sometimes, someone will bring out a little bit of variety. And that is what we are hoping for today.
Yeah, but just to touch back on... If we get there, yeah, that is a potential. But Prod have just actually let us know that the only team to take a map off VNR was Prolific on Sunset. So does that play into the fact that BABO have picked that, knowing that this could be one of their weaker maps? Well, we'll have to find out as we are getting ready to jump into that agent select menu.
And this is the all-important part, the compositions, what leads us into this. A couple of players that I know me and yourself will recognise here. Veggie, you've already spoke about them before, but we'll have to see if they can really carry on the expectation that you've placed on them so far. As most of these compositions starting to be locked in. We see Geckos on both sides, Breaches on both sides as well being matched. But one pick that I know you'll be a fan of as a Heretic fan is that Neon.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is as close to that Heretics lineup that you're going to get, right? Apart from missing a KO. It's basically the Heretics lineup from Miniboo. But listen, I think a lot of people can pick Neons, but it can also make your team a lot worse if you don't know how to play the agent, and if you're not confident in that agent pick, especially when it comes down to spacing, like if your team has a spacing issue, that Neon can just make it so much worse because they're going to use their pace. They're going to put up the wall and run onto site, and then before you know it, there's no one actually to play off and capitalize on that space that you've made because you're just going to be taken down. So at the minute, I'm leaning more to the VNR side.
But I will say that Neon, obviously, you said there's no KO. I feel like Breach is easier to combo that utility with. Obviously, it's very easy for him to throw it through walls. He doesn't need to be in these lineup positions to pop flash, can very easily use that stun. Pretty much semi-globally across the map, it can be used from a variety of different positions. So it's a lot easier to combo that duelist and initiator together. But as we head into this pistol round, it all becomes kind of important on how the pace is going to be set. These early rounds that we talk about, I feel like on Sunset, the defense really needs to show something because it can be a very excited map if the defense doesn't show some kind of set play or trap play.
Yep, let's see how it starts off. Snow, I'm excited. We're about to get in to the final match of groups. This is where both these teams have been playing for throughout the whole tournament so far, ready to secure their place in the playoffs. It all comes down to the final day. Can BABO Gaming cinch in to the playoffs, or will VNR fade them away? They get started. The Breach stun comes in hot, tries to play anything off the back, but the Cypher cages are enough to deny any visibility as Jamal Balls picks up the first kill of the game.
And that means the retake going to have to happen. The Cypher trip still gives them this space, though. 4 members playing off site. It's the old Heretics hold. And we'll have to see, because the importance lies within LSR right here and whether they can stop the push.
And it's not going to come through as the pistol picks up one, almost collects a second, but 3 left in main. Lil Bro goes out to try and catch anyone off guard, but the spike has been tapped and held, and there's no one left alive as Nesto and Rico clean up the mess of B main. And the first round falls to BABO.
And I think it's that Cypher trip that stayed up on site, protecting market, protecting that right-hand side of the site, meaning that if you're VNR, you have no space on this map, and BABO can completely read every position that they're going to be playing. They know that teams like to play slightly pushed up. The paranoia comes through, shuts down LSR in that key position where they had to at least get one or at least stall for a little bit of time. And with the wingman as well, turns it from a 4 versus 5 into a 5 versus 5. And now we head into this second round. Improved economy from BABO. A couple of Bulldogs coming out as well. If they can clean sweep this one, they could be looking to a good start at maybe getting themselves that playoff spot.
Yeah, we're going to see the nade try and go down, break off the tripwires. The Satchel's coming in to add some extra pace, and the shorty to collect the first kill as Nesto falls. And that's the best way to deal with a problem. Face it heads on, collect a weapon, but Goblin Barrel is there to get one and collect a second as well. Looking to stop this plant going down. It will stall, but the spike goes down regardless, and BABO Gaming once again left in a retake situation.
And they're trying to push forward. The aggression does come through. All 3 members, wingman's battling out against each other. And it means that with these sole members left alone on site, this retake should be clean and succinct. But if Aragi has anything to say about it, Veggie, they don't. Gecko on Gecko violence right there. Is that BABO does come out of this second round, but it's one that is costly for them. 3 members going down. They are going to be able to take a couple of Bulldogs into this next spawn, but with very low investment from VNR. We pretty much saw all classics and just a shorty here from LSR. They were able to get quite a lot out of it.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at the buy coming in. BABO have to think about being wise to what they can do, but invest in only a Ghost, a couple half shields, VNR buying full Vandals and armor, fighting into it. It's a round that, bar a miracle, you're not going to win. And I think for BABO that's fine, right? You just want to try and cause as much damage as possible, take a couple kills, and see where the round goes.
With that in mind, just kind of see where the round goes. We have got an Omen with a shotgun. Those smokes have just become that little bit more deadly. VNR wants to take their time a little bit here. Trying to scout out to see if the Cyphering is... As they move forward, a lovely contact play could be just what they needed to get themselves this site.
Paranoia, it's the safety for a little bit, but first contact now coming in. Veneer trying to get that kill as Spike is shot down. Little bro didn't have the chance, and the shotgun comes in. Thrash following up, trying to find extra contact that they can, but this round quickly fading away from Veneer, and Syntix tries to do the best they can to recover, picks up the Spike, the covering fire to ensure they're safe, and now it's just going to have to be a regroup and rethink the situation.
They still have the weaponry advantage though, but with a few members down on site, if they leave this B bomb site, it means that Veneer gonna have to lick their wounds, recoup, move over to A, and it gives the advantage over to BABO there. Health pools in their favor, weaponry now gonna be equalized, and as they hear the footsteps go back towards A, it is gonna be a shift of all 3 members, but Veneer has found their way on site.
And I think that camera might have just missed the TP pass as well, so the communication not quite on point, not knowing that the trip finally gets hit, and that will be the call to actions of, oh wait a second, they actually are over here. You see the cages just trying to block any vision, and now it's all down to Veneer. What space can they take away? What angles can they play off to stop this BABO's retake? But as they start closing down like a hungry pack of wolves, they walk right into that paranoia, and it'll just delay it even further. But Jamal positioned, ready to trade off as they all look to swing this angle. The smoke is good to cut vision, but Bro puts the tension down, and 2 kills come through. But it's all down to this. Little Bro tries to do the best, but the classic comes in clutch at the end. The right click headshot puts Veneer on the board.
And with that, damage to the economy has been done. Veneer are going to be able to buy into this round pretty easily, but it means that the money going to be a bit lower. We're probably going to see at least one member on a Guardian here. There's a bit of scrappy play from both those teams, but it is going to be a Veneer round 1. And BABOS now kind of in the driver's seat. They're building towards some of those ultimates. But on the flip side, Veneer, if they could keep this pacing up, if they could keep that momentum going from that 3rd round, they could get a foothold back in this game.
Yeah, you drew out some powerful ults, like the Thrash was used by BABO, so you take this small win as you come up. As both of these teams at the minute just really reluctant to play off that pace, like you mentioned, and just trying to bait anything that could come down from BABOS off of A main. Guard that orb and take it, like you say, farming up any ult points coming in, is the calls now just coming in to try and hit A, and this Neon's going to have a job on their hands.
But it being the Neon means a quick exit. It is very easy. Spots a member, instantly sprints away. It's a race of time to see if any members can get back to help support this push, as Rico has found their way on site, but already 4 of the side of BABOS are here to support.
Yeah, Wingman just identifies the push is faster. Rico puts on their Adidas shoes and runs even faster to get another one, and now Marco in at track, ready to do it. Lil Bro's down, but Aragi is not finished with this round yet, picking up a 3k, looking for a 4th, but Nesto is there to rescue the round for BABOS and stop that one getting out of control and put themselves onto 3.
Oh, and you've got to think that's close right there. The fact that 3 kills come out with just a Guardian, you've got to be shaking in your boots a little bit of your BABOS. That could have been a round turner. The momentum could have shifted, but right when they needed it, Nesto finishes that one up. And heading into this round, Veneer going to be forced onto a save. Only some Sheriffs in hand, 1 Stinger on the side of LSR, but with how good the Satchel's been so far, I wouldn't be surprised to see them picking up a kill.
All. I mean, we've seen the fast pace come in, and we've seen Rico just hitting the overdrive. The name of the tournament, the tournament is living up the 4K. Overdrive, everything hitting on. Can the ace be found? The crowd can be heard cheering. Ace, ace, ace. But Bald even will take it, and the flawless victory coming in. That is one way to shut down those Eco.
Yeah, I think it's... Someone rang the dinner bell right there, and Rico was like, I need to run, I have to go down mid. Just smelled the free kills as they use that overdrive, sprint over to tiles, pick themselves up some easy kills. And obviously it is an eco, so we wouldn't have counted it if it was the eco ace. At the end of the day, it's a little bit easier to pick that one up. But now moving forwards, Operator is going to be picked up by Devin. see if they can really help lock down one of these sides of the map. Looking to peek over towards A. Paranoia has been used already. And with heavy pressure mid, it means that VNR has to back all the way up into their spawn.
Yeah, that's just going to be capitalised, pushed through. The Cypher Tripwire does give information now, and Nesto is in a prime position to play off it. The smoke goes up, but the cage is good to allow for a reposition. Neural Theft online. And now VNR kind of stuck in a hard place. They have the spike down, but they have to look at what they can do, worrying about any fight that can come from behind. And BABO are in a prime position to try and capitalise and get this spike diffused, but a lot of utility able to slow this one down and just delay and delay and delay.
White line used as well. Thrash now sends it in. It's back and forth for both teams. And with the defuse starting to come through, the spams come through as well. And all 5 members from both teams just battling it out on site. And with Rico, the sole member left alive, has to save that operator and run with their tail between their legs.
Yeah, I mean, Neo and Weber are going to be insanely proud of that one. So that is how you execute a B main hold. Make sure there's nothing the opponents can do. You see the Thrash being invested, everything just to stop that diffuse. And eventually, smoke dissipates and the shots are enough to pressure the save coming in on the op. And it's just a beautiful B hold.
And I think for me, the main part that came through, the Thrash was very good at kind of negating that diffuse, but the stun, the fault line was so huge because it meant that the Thrash no longer can be killed, so they have to respect it, they have to back away, and as chaos ensues, it all goes the way of VNR. Now 4-2 becomes our round count. Rico has this operator, and this is the all-important one. 3 members toying with the idea of moving over towards B-Veg, but to their better judgment, they're just going to back off, use that mid-control they have to maybe create some presence over towards A.
Yeah, almost trying to play, find the op, push the opposite side. It's not a gun that you want to be forcing into, and now, like you say, they will be pushing up A, but the smoke is enough to stop anyone from pushing through it and cause a little bit of a delay. The one-way follows it up. Dizzy won't connect following the breach stun, trying to get any utility combination through. Showstopper invested to get some space, but used and does not connect. And now LSR is going to have to follow this one up. The Thrash invested as well to try and shut this down, and it does connect onto one. The BABO team is good enough to get the kill. And now it just seems that VNR stopped once again between this rock and a hard place and forced into another rotation.
But a 4 versus 4 is going to favour the attackers, especially if you can find that kill. And with a member down mid, all of BABOS has to rush towards this B site, but the Cypher is still here. Nesto could go huge. The Trick finds one, but maybe it's enough as the peek out. Wingman does get the bomb down though, Veg, and it's a Raggy in a 1 versus 3.
Yeah, Raggy, we've seen the clutches before. With Arden has the upgraded Vandal this time, tries to throw the molly out, does connect, but the shots are good from Nesto. As once again they're here to, I think we've left Valorant and joined Birmingham here. There's a knife fight going down, and I'm not too sure someone needs to get the police on the phone.
Yeah, that's almost. Maybe we should call some help down from above, because we're lucky there's no team damage right here. But moving out of that round, it's now flipped the sides, as from a save, BABOS was able to win that one out. Nesto locking down that site, creating a little bit of chaos as they find the pick from a sneaky little angle. Smoke just missed there. It gives an opportunity. Played to perfection. And it means that we now see a Guardian and a Sheriff on the side of VNR. They're going to have to see if they can maybe click some of those heads. Pressure going to be created over towards this B side, and it seems to be the default for this VNR squad. Create pressure, B side of the map, use that cam mid, and the amount of space they take has been so good from early on, but they just haven't been able to capitalize in terms of the post plants.
It's something that they'll have to improve on, is they're just playing so slow, not wanting to make a mistake, aware that they've lost space before and not wanting to give it up as they look to capitalize on mid. But BABO Dem is close by. Op at the cage, shuts down vision. The satchels come in, followed by the stun. Space is now theirs. In the opposition spawns Goblin Barrel. Has to team up with the rest of the team. And this Rolling Thunder is huge. Can it be capitalised on? They get one, but a Rolling Thunder in return to stop too much damage. And LSR 5 HP will fall to Nesto. And this round is falling apart for VNR faster than my high school dreams as it all comes down to Snapter, who can't find a bit.
And a rolling thunder that hits all 5 right there. And while it only nets them 1 kill, the amount of pressure they get and the amount of time that they get is so pivotal to this squad. BABOS can rotate their members off of B. They know there's a very heavy mid presence. They pinch on both sides of that, and it leaves VNR in a situation where they don't know what to do. They send the rolling thunder back, and with how this map has been going so far, Veggie, I think you're right about it. I think BABOS did their scouting and realised that there's a bit of weakness in VNR's Sunset.
They haven't really looked like causing too much damage. Yes, they've been close, but ultimately falling short of the line, and will fall short once again as the spray comes in, unable to get that trip down on time. Lil Bro goes in, but will fall down, and Snapter falls as well, leaving Izzard down to 2 players left. It's Jamal Balls, and they are stuck between a hard place, and that hard place is Rico and Nesto, and they will fall down once again. But it's an eco, so they don't need to worry too much. But ultimately, these rounds are falling swiftly apart.
Absolutely despicable that they sent Wingman in to die there, to be honest. The fact that Wingman is sent in solo just to commit to death is a horrific act, and from that I hope BABOS win. Just because of, even if not the series, just this map. VNR doesn't deserve it. You can't send in Lil Bro just to die, to try bait out some enemies and not even get the trade afterwards. Like, what is this about? And a very much needed timeout comes after that, and I think at this moment the coach of VNR is not going to be talking about the game. He's going to be talking about Little Bro and how they possibly do that to such a pivotal part of this team.
I don't know. I heard Lil Bro insta-lock Jet at the start of this round, and that's why they were trying to entry, pushing through. Like, the team was just baiting them, holding back, and they were like, right, dash out into the cage, let me follow. But yeah, it's just painful. But if we're being real for a second, VNR, they've had some ideas. They have got onto site sometimes with success. The Raze has been using satchels beautifully to get onto site and shut it down, but a lot of the team just haven't been there to follow through for the traps that have found a lot of success. And I mean, we've seen the answers over and over again, whether it's the paint shells coming in or just someone quite able to shoot the trap, especially when it's placed deep on B main. And I think that the answer could just be for that B mid pinch. You know, we see the fight coming in, and when that answer does come in, you actually see Neon pushing right down and has found a lot of success, and maybe they will again.
Moving on to backside is LSR, but Nesto has been so good at locking this one down, but when you're pinched from both sides, eventually you're gonna get hurt. And with the bomb now going down, it depends, does VNR want to stay on site? I think they don't have an opportunity to get out, Veg. They have to stick it out on site here.
They have to play the mud and fight for their lives. They have the ult online, into the shadows being prepped. Maybe cause a little bit of pressure and reevaluate the situation, but LSR doesn't need anything. They step up, get the paint shells back, throw that in just to push Marco even further back, and it will call for a reposition, but as time is dwindling down, Marco, not too much hope as they maybe just look to play for the exits and try and damage VNR's economy as they finally get another round on the board, but VNR not giving them that opportunity, running straight into spawn where they'll be safe and be able to hold down for the next.
Barker running through, possibly going to get taken out here. Oh, 2 members on 1 HP. The fact that they can't get a kill there is so sad for the side of BABOS. But VNR, after the timeout, they decide hyper-aggression is the angle. I think it's unfortunate that they haven't figured out that Rico has been pretty much doing most of these mid to tile pushes alone. If you can find a time to put a player and pinch Rico on both sides, that should be a free kill at the start of the round.
But this time, choosing to go into B main, but will be stunned, aftershock, dizzied, everything thrown at them to stop any aggression being taken, and the firing shots coming back from Rico saying, this is my hub, this is my map, I control it, not you, and it will just force a wee walk through the park, a leisurely stroll over to A to try and find some success, but LSR planted deep.
And it's so much utility wasted as well, right? Like that's the bigger issue. It's not even just that you get the space back, you use so much util just to trade for pretty much a neon dash and stun. But Thrash is going to lead in this charge, he's going to clear out elbow, but with the one-way being used by VNR, it means that you've forced yourselves to only be able to move over to elbow because you can't have that same lane to sight.
Yeah, but I think the idea is to try and drag as many players over onto A, and it's not really worked. You look at it, there's 3 players still sat on B. Rico catches the timing off of Virage trying to waddle their way back into their spawn and push off site, but as this hit comes down, LSR using those Satos, like we said, to pick up 2 kills and might just have rescued this round as Syntex finds the 3rd as well, and Babos going from such a good position, falls down, but Rico comes to save the day. 10 seconds left, it comes to a 1 versus 1. The Cypher versus Cypher, Syntex versus Nesto. We've seen Nesto win these situations before. Can they come out on top again? The Neurotheft reveals the position. It's great. The time being delayed ever so much, and it comes down to the swing, and Syntex is good for it, and VNR put a 4th onto the attacking round.
On the Cypher on side battle, it just goes the way of VNR, and a round that they needed. They were so far behind, they finally catch a break. And it was LSR, right? It was that entry that came round the side, catches 2 people off guard, and we thought it was doomed. There was a triple stack over towards B. It was read perfectly by Babos, but a very nice individual play from LSR gets them the advantage, and clutched out by Syntex right there means that the round score isn't actually looking too bad if VNR can clutch this one out here.
Yeah, looking at it, you'd probably be pretty happy with the 5, especially if you can capitalise, but that showstopper coming in to stop any pressure further for B main, and it actually catches BABO Devon on the push back, and now they need to push to this Neon, who has the overdrive. Will pop it up, little bro trying to get the plant. It's out in the open. It's great for any late flank that can come in, but that's not going to be there as LSR has woken up, gets 3 kills and looks for the 4th. The paint shells to buy extra space for the reposition. Omen tucked tight in. Jamal Ball's able to hold for this angle, and Marco a 1v4 in a situation that's almost doomed. The only option to push forward. They find the 1, but the double swing comes through, and Aragi is prepared. And VNR save their half.
It's like when you know when you like lift up a crotch? When you lift up a rock and all of a sudden you have like a load of little bugs scatter around. It's like that same essence. Kills the Omen, all of a sudden, like gets tripled from 3 different sides. It's definitely not a situation you'd like to be in, but rounding off that half, VNR... Listen, I'm trying to bring it back on track, okay? VNR managing to pull it to a 7-5 scoreline, still not in their favour. And whatever the coach said to them during that timeout activated LSR, because LSR was on fire towards the end of that half, and we'll have to see if they can keep up the pace here. But with how aggressive Babos has been playing, you've got to think that that utility comboed with the Neon has got to go in their favour.
Yeah, I think that really becomes the winning factor for this attack for Babos is, can the Neon link up with the Breach and Gecko to capitalise on any pushes coming through? And the first push that we're going to see is into mid. We see the Dizzy used for the bounce back, great for the recapture, and all this space that's been taken is going to cause so many question marks for VNR to clear as they come back off A. You don't know if they've pushed into your spawn, but it doesn't matter now as they choose to push in to Boba, and the first one will fall to Aragi. The high smoke is good to stop any pressure, but LSR is here to capture as well, and it's all just coming down to 1-for-1 trading, and it leaves us with this 2 versus 2. Spike is down, and Snapter knows where it is.
All 4 members know where this one is, and Devin, on a timing, finds the information that they need to get that kill. And Snapter,
Spike planted.
all alone now, has found their way onto site, but double back, and that could be their doom right here, Veggie.
Yeah, position now noted. Snapter having to isolate these fights, but Babos not wanting to give them out. Will try climbing Mount Everest to get up on top here, but Devon just jiggle, peeking it ever so slightly for any extra information. We do have a stun and a flash online, which could isolate this fight over onto Goblin, but it's not going to do it. Trying to just play around at the timing is perfect, and Goblin finally swings round the barrel, puts it in the fish, and all of a sudden Babos win their second pistol at the half. Well, not the half.
Played to almost perfection in that 2 versus 1. Most often, teams will kind of give those 1 versus 1s and play a bit more riskier and look for those fights, and that's how you see these big clutches coming out. But a round that maybe I thought was in favor of Veneer. You spoke about, you know, there were question marks at the top of mid. That Cypher Cam alleviated those question marks. They were stacked towards B, but in the chaos, they just lose out on some of those fights. And Rico loved a bit of a Tiles push over on defense and keeping the same theme on attack.
Yeah, the issue is wasted a whole magazine, and I'm not talking the Beano, I'm talking the bullets, as they're now down to 20 plus 40. They shouldn't need it though, right? If we're being sensible about it on an eco for Veneer, it shouldn't matter too much. But a simple story that we've seen over and over in that first half was the patience that Veneer were showing on their attack to try and bait out any early. But this time,
look at this trap, Veggie. Oh, Veggie, this could be horrific for the side of Babos, and it's almost like when you're watching a horror and you know something bad's about to happen. Oh, but the spidey senses from Babos takes them over towards A, and they've played it almost perfectly without even knowing it.
It's almost like they could sense it, right? You speak about the spidey senses. Tom Holland was in their ears saying, "Nah, don't do it, trust me. You'll get my goosebumps are up, don't do it." Zendaya wouldn't want to be like this. Don't. I couldn't save Emma Stone, but I can save you, as they now choose to push over to A. The Dizzy is good, connects on both, and Syntex collect first couple shots, but Marco is going to be able to get that plant. Little Bro puts it down. Rico shocking backside. The Stinger collects 1, Devon gets 2, and now it all comes down to Syntex, who's putting up a fight, but will collect the rest, and it's some good damage. And you're looking at it, Devon has to buy full shield into it, but a very, very solid hold.
But the main thing is, there wasn't a mass amount of investment. You look at the weaponry here now. They're going to have 3 rifles. Yes, one of which is the Bulldog, but 3 rifles, pair that with a Spectre and a Sheriff. It's not too bad a buy. Some nice shots could be coming through on this one and put you in a situation where this bonus round isn't looking too shabby, especially with how Rico's been playing. This player has always been good for 1 in pretty much every round. Looking to be no different here, dashing straight through onto site, but taken out instantly, and that is your strongest weapon instantly out of the round.
Yeah, and you just feel like the spacing from the rest of the team just so far behind that utility, when it doesn't connect and you get spammed with it yourself, you can't capitalise. But as they push off Aragi, they can hope, and Barrow able to swing it, but Snapter is there to trade and take down the Cypher, but a lot of utility plays still left on. Jamal tries to TP across, but noted by Devon, knowing what an Omen can do, can hear the sounds, and they'll try and push up looking for more, but Goblin Barrel is there to stop this pressure push for Veneer as they try and get on site. The stuns are great, just hold further back, the wall bang comes in, and the position of Syntex has been noted, but it's good for 1, good for 2. As the new theft will get the signal, but Marco uses that to swing and pick up the weapon upgrade, and Babos put themselves on to 10.
That's disgusting. That was disgusting. The Spectre run and gun, that is absolutely disgusting.
Which one of you didn't flush the toilet?
That was absolutely horrific to see. I mean, a round that Veneer had to win. They were expected to win. And it just goes the way of Babos. through some real aggressive play, even though the opening pick wasn't theirs. And a pinch over towards this A side goes horribly wrong, as not a single player is here from the side of BABOS, and Wingman's being sent in as the entry once again. You hate to see it, but at least this time the team's protected it.
Yeah, able to capitalise, but Syntex is there to shut down Rico, but thankfully for them, the teammates this time in a lot closer vicinity to capitalise and get the kills and not allow for the weapon upgrade to be taken for free. And now that spike is down, the B main hold can come in, the smokes to cut them off, but the play that is huge is Devon. Look at the positioning, rolling down into mid to capture and pick anyone off, but it seems like the position is noted. The Snapter fully aware, picks up one, but it doesn't matter. As Goblin Barrel gets two, and that will shut this round down for Veneer. No chance for them to get back in it, and BABOS collect round 11.
Snapter hiding in this corner. BABO kind of knows. BABOS, they're trying to possibly spam a little bit, see if they can take that weapon out of the hands of Snapter, but it is going to be maintained. And with 11 rounds on the board now, this game is looking easier and easier. The economy in the gutter completely for Veneer. And at the moment, it's just been BABOS's aggressive play style that Veneer just hasn't been able to handle. They're so quick on their executes, BABOS. They're so quick with their decision making. It seems like whatever their IGL calls, all 5 members are on the same page straight away. And with Overdrive and a judge, this is looking scary.
Yeah, it's over so quickly, Rico. We've seen how effective this Overdrive can be, and they get one. But Snapter and Aragi are there to trade off each other. Aragi stops the Thrash being utilised too much, but Nesto and Goblin Barrel straight in for the action. Said you took my neon away, but we're now just going to camp, and the Benji Fishy spot being held, and it will collect 2 players as Nesto puts BABOS Gaming onto map point.
And it's been a dominant one as well. It's not just a match where they're slugging back and forth. They completely look like they've got Veneer's number at every turn. They know kind of how to play around these angles. They know what Veneer's setups are going to be, it seems. Like that play from Rico comes straight out of the anti-strap playbook. You know that there's going to be a player holding there. You send the fault line, send the overdrive. They were prepped for it. They had the judge pre-round. It's these set plays from BABOS that have been so good and have been shutting down Veneer at every opportunity.
Now forcing into the final potential round. Rico trying to get the opening kills, but Syntex playing off the traps. Can they collect? Yes, the debt has been picked up. One falls, a second to the same trap, and Syntex might just be holding down this map for Veneer in the hope, but Goblin Barrel will collect that one. That gets their own Thunder online as well.
Oh,
as
no.
his plant comes in. Oh, this is dangerous. Nesto just so far ahead of LSR. They're not aware that a player could be coming in behind. And as this team of Veneer come in, the Thrash is available for a potential retake, but it's going to have to collect a lot.
There's so much space to clear, Veg. They're all backing away now as well. You know sight is clear, but that doesn't help you. Player lane, 2 players elbow. There's just so much to do with a rolling Thunder as well.
Yeah, they does get the one info, but Jamal Balls has it all to do, and it will not be found as BABOS Gaming cook up the first victory and set themselves onto map 1.
And I mean, if this is how good BABOS are looking, maybe Elysian's looking a little bit scared and worried, because this was the team that has been dominating pretty much everybody within this group so far, and they got completely dismantled on Sunset. But I mean, to their benefit, you did say before, the one map we had seen Veneer lose was on Sunset. So this is by no means the series over, or saying that BABOS is going to sweep this one.
Yeah, but I think it's an important message to know. I think any team that's currently qualified for the playoffs should be watching this game and looking at it going, right, okay, there's a chance we come up against Veneer. We might have a favourite map that we like to play, but if you look at it from like an anti point of view, pick Sunset. Like, it's almost a free win, right? And the least BM tactic that you want to talk. I don't think BABOS put that much into that. to win that. I don't think there was. I know you were talking about the anti-strats coming through, the set plays coming on, but it looked like there was just a lot of aggression and lacking of defensive ideas for Veneer. They were playing off the trips heavy, and when they weren't collecting, the rounds just weren't close.
Yeah, I will say that maybe you say it wasn't a lot of effort put by BABO. I don't know. That they seem to really have Veneer's number in terms of knowing how to play these holds and what trap plays to go for, what set plays to go for on their attack. I will say though, Veneer, maybe knowing that they're safe, not trying to expose too much, because it seemed like they were kind of playing it a bit puggier. They were kind of going for a few looser plays where they go for a few picks. And we did see as soon as they kind of went all out on that attack side and started using more of their own set plays and linking up that initiator duelist combo, they did look really strong. It was just on defense, they were kind of a bit too aggressive in this one, Veg.
Yeah, but I think you're probably right. They're not wanting to show too much is probably what they will trying to do. But what they will need to show is a potential map win if they want to take this to map number 3. So we're going to have to keep you tuned as we look into what could potentially come. As we take a short break, we'll be right back with map number 2.
I need to watch out for this people holding his angle. Oh my word!
Still forced to swing and does do so with the top draft Wolverine. Not expecting the second one there. Lewis Snow with the blade storm is going crazy.
Drop down the operator and pick up the vandal in the last round, and care he's not able to get anyone as the counter flash is there, but the deadlock tries to steal his teammate away, but he's gonna be surviving immediately with the team play card. He's just gonna deal some damage, but he's gonna be easily taken out, and OOT just way too aggressive. Yeah.
Oh, I see the vision.
Welcome back to the Reyna's Overdrive $1,000 tournament. I'm still Veggie Hot Dog. I've calmed down since before. The math is a little bit more straightforward, and thankfully, the ether to my net, Snow is still here.
I mean, you're seeing it now, aren't you? It's because you're visualizing it. We saw that Matt 1 win, so you're starting to see the potential where when Babos wins, what the solution is and what's going to happen. But, you know, if you're a Veneer fan, it's still all good for you. I mean, if you're a Elysian fan, it's still all good for you. This is one of Veneer's stronger maps. When we were looking at Veneer playing Lotus, they have had some dominant performances on this map. They 13-2'd Prolific on this. Looked like an absolute slaughter fest on that map. So maybe it's the comeback. I honestly believe Babos kind of did their homework. Their prep was really good on Sunset. We'll have to see if they've also done their homework on Lotus. But it being a stronger map for Veneer, I think it's going to go the other way.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you bring up the victory to Team Prolific, because Babos also played this map against Team Prolific, and it was a lot closer. So I'm going to revert back. Veggie Maths is back. Yeah, you've heard the Girl Maths. Welcome to Veggie Maths. Get the whiteboard back out. If a team can beat one team and the other team can't, then that team should win. However, when it comes down to close situations, so when both teams have beat both teams, it comes down to the round differential, right? So if I beat Fnatic 13-0, like I would 1v5 Fnatic. And
you cleared Durka.
Clearly. Oh, so much. Like I don't even need the buff. Like I could go in with my hair and still do it. But anyway, if I was then to play FUT and it was 13-5, then you would say FUT would beat Fnatic. And look what happened recently. FUT beat Fnatic. So Veggie Maths. Hashtag Veggie
what you're
Maths.
saying, so in Veggie Math, so if Team X can beat Team Y, but Team Y beat Team Z, that means that Team X is also greater than Team Z.
Yep.
So we've got the formula. We can work it out. When we place it into this, it means that Veneer should be winning this one.
Yep, absolutely. And so to kind of bring it back to topic, if you have got lost in all that Veggie Maths, it's a different map. We're not watching Sunset. We're watching Lotus, which is an interesting map, right? I feel like we spoke about this before. We've seen teams start to work out how to defensively hold Lotus instead of it being a full-blown set attacking map. Teams are starting to look a little bit more into the set plays of the Breach, Omen, Nade, and then obviously you've got the paint shells coming in from Reyna. Even just fast playing across onto Mound and playing for that A main choke point, as well as taking pressure on C to try and shut things down. But is there anything in particular you're looking forward to seeing?
I honestly am just looking forward to seeing if the flow chart kind of goes the same as how it has been going for the past month or so within pro play, and that the flow chart is defense fights for one side of the map, attack backs off, takes sight on the other side of the map, defense side retakes, and it pretty much comes down to who can better combo their utility during that retake. And I want to see if it's that same kind of style, or if someone breaks that apart a bit, because I know one way to break that apart is heavy lurk plays where you insert a player deep into B that can catch these rotates off and can really play from behind, especially if you take C, if you can get a player that can kind of insert deep into B, play through waterfall, play through into spawn. It can shut down these teams going for these retakes. And another thing that we've seen PRX do a lot is you take the site, you play really far up, you wait, and as soon as the enemy team starts throwing their util, you counter push them straight away and catch them off guard.
Okay, so there's a good mix to expect, which is once again why this map has found a lot of success for teams, because there's a whole lot of different agent compositions coming in. You're not set to the one strat. So I still think, although we have seen a fairly set forward meta for it, both of these teams might have different agents that they might to bring.
Yeah, there's a mix of teams, some of which have been keeping the Viper, some of which that have thrown it away since the nerf. I think it kind of depends on how you want to play. We've seen the rise also of Astra coming back as well. So we'll have to see kind of when this agent select comes through, whether they want to play more lurk heavy style, if they want to go towards that Viper, or if they want to bring it back and kind of play a bit of a different style. Because I know, Veggie, I think we've casted a game where someone's picked a Clove during this map. Yeah. And it's those changes in the compositions that can throw a team like VNR off when they're so used to playing certain styles, they're so used to playing certain ways. If BABO can bring something out that is more FPX-ish, that throws off the flow of the game, it can be what you need to put VNR on the back foot.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely what it's going to come down to, is can BABO throw VNR off what they've already accomplished on this map, especially if they want to take this series 2-0, because you look at map number 3 coming up Ascent, another map that VNR are very confident with playing. So you fancy if BABOs want their best chance of winning, it will come down to this. And I think the agent select could be huge in determining whether we go to map number 3 or not.
But also, it's we spoke about it on that Sunset game. It is that prep. How much time has BABOs had to prepare for this game? They played a long, grueling series yesterday. They had to come out of that win knowing that they now have a chance at playoffs after that win, and kind of now they have to prep for yet another series against VNR, the top of the table. And the anti-strats worked well on Sunset. I don't know if it's going to be the same case within Lotus. Gecko locked in again. Neon also locked in again. But Veggie, you spoke about it, and that's deadlock.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I've been getting a little bit hyped up recently about. We spoke about this in depth yesterday, about how the tier 2 NA scene have been bringing in deadlock. And I think Lotus is a map that it can be very fruitful on. You lose that hard sort of sentinel that plays on site. You don't have anyone that can hold it down. But
wait, Veggie, wait. It's not just deadlock. It's single controller harbor. What in the PRX, FPX, aggressive style of gameplay is this? What in the W Key Gaming are we witnessing?
I missed the Cypher as well. They have that hard sentinel. It's fine.
What is going on? They're on attack as well. They're starting attack with Deadlock Cypher. What I will say is this almost is like dictating. I spoke about that flowchart with you before, Veggie, of like one defense attacks one side, attack goes to the other side, and defense tries to retake. This perfectly plays into that, because if you get a free site and you set up with all that Cypher and Deadlock utility, how does a team get back in through that?
Yeah, but the big thing is, how do VNR get any information? They've nobody to really seek out and find anything. No, like, yes, you've got the breach to stun and flash, but there's nothing really to clear any angles apart from physically using your body, right? That's the only way that the angles are going to get cleared here. You talk about FUT running at all time through VCT, but I mean, we can't doubt it. This is VNR's pick. They've come in knowing that they want to play this map, and we're just going to have to see how it goes. But the other thing we need to talk about is the Neon being picked once again by Babos Gaming, and we've seen Rico have an absolute game on that Neon in the last pick, on the last map, sorry. So is that something that's going to fry again? And you see the tags coming in so early, so I want to push off C.
I think it's harder. I think it's harder within this map to really make as great usage of that Neon. You can't really sprint down these long angles without expecting a fight. And it is the wall that then becomes useful to see if you can find these long angles and shorten them into something more manageable. But with 5 members of VNR heading towards B, this harbor, the wall is looking so overpowered as they've just gained the site 4-3.
Yeah, the Gravnet followed with the pink shells. Won't quite get much, but LSR gets the classic kill as well. And now mean, you think about him having to push off angles, but Snapter and the rest of the team just pushing forward, trying to create more. The cascade is just going to shut off vision. The wall is going to hold down, and this is something that VNR have clearly thought through. Snow, that they know that once they get on site, they're going to have so much utility to hold it that it becomes about how do Babos retake.
And I know, Veggie, you are a fan of Pokemon. It's looking like Squirtle out there with the amount of water flying across the map, because that was pretty much Harbor single-handedly stopping those pushes. Takes the entire B site by themselves with that wall, then just carries on throwing out cascades. There's not really much you can do. It's looking like Babos out here can't swim because they had no way to get onto that site, and with now their only weapon really being a Bucky in this round, Nesto's all alone on C. This one should be over, barring a big throw from VNR.
Yeah, they grab net early doors as well, just to try and catch Nesto out if they're trying to play even further. But the lovely flash from Marco will be enough to stop any of this C play. But the rest of the team pushing up, trying to pinch anybody off in spawn, and the deadlock wall now going to have to go up to try and stop this. But it does go near into this C hit. The wall comes in, it's not quite as good this time, a little bit scrappy, and it will allow for Nesto to pick up the first kill.
But traded out straight away by Cinti. And once again, we see the usage of this Harbor just being so strong to get that site. And in a retake scenario, not much expected to happen. Cinti was almost on for an ace there. But with Devin, sole player that's going to be coming from behind, only a Bucky in hand, not really much going to be happening here. It gives us a little bit of scope to talk about the compositions, because we said that non-standard comps for either of these teams, really. VNR's one is kind of psychotic when you look at it. The fact that they've just gone for solo controller Harbor. I think with how BABO plays, if the anti-stratting is as good as it looked on Sunset, and if their reads are as good as they looked on Sunset, you very much can kind of play around the idea of wherever the Harbor is where VNR has to hit.
Yeah, you talk about telltale signs, and as soon as you see that wall going up, then the call for the rotate has to come in straight away. But I mean,
it's not even just the wall going in. If you just see Harbor in general, you know that they have to go towards that site, and you can instantly go to stack. It's not like they have an Omen who's smoking cross map. It's not like a Viper that can put the wall up across the map. The Harbor can't really lurk. So I think it becomes of pivotal importance for Babos to almost find that Harbor, because then you know instantly where VNR is going to be.
But what I like here is the repeat, just to go back to B. They know the wall is great, and they have the aggression to come up. LSR picking up that judge as well is just going to play so close and stop anyone coming through Hobbit. But the answer to that for Babos is to try and push up and take spawn, cut off the angle that's not fully being held, and take this fight elsewhere. But on the save, when the weapons aren't so great, this kind of favours what VNR want to happen.
And on this one, a TP into sight could be what they need, but head on a swivel from the side of VNR. They're holding all the angles, they're sweeping back and forth, but Nesto is so good on defense, but also so good on attack as well. Is this Omen smoke only thing keeping LSR alive? And it will not be enough, but with 4 members gone for the side of Babos Veg, it's so dire for them. And what I love there is it's not the same hit. It's a B hit, but it comes from the complete opposite side. They go for different parts of the map to take control over. And while VNR doesn't win that one out, the fact that it came down to a 1 versus 1 is so impressive.
Yeah, and I think you look at now what Babos Gaming are buying into it, looking at bringing just loads of stingers in, and it might just be this fight that happens on to B just to try and take the pressure on. They have money to buy into the next round. Is it just a matter of taking the fight to VNR, stop them, getting the plant on? But
shadows traveling.
The information gathered outside C, the one way just to try and stop any further aggression and try and funnel them into this death trap that has been formed on B. You see Breach with the stun ready to go, Rico hidden behind the box, and Goblin Barrel just trying to bait behind, but the rest of the team of VNR are maybe somehow wise to it and just testing the waters over on a site that they've not even ventured onto once, will become the target now. And the Cascade just pushes Nesto back. Can they get ahead of the wall to find anything? They do, but the utility's good, but the Cove just doesn't drop fast enough as the first kill comes in.
And now, Sight going to be taken, but that pick from Nesto could be everything they need. This position, so pivotal, so important, could just sneak round and find a timing. Nesto has it all to do, Veg. They are the key player in this retake.
Can they survive as Snapter takes down Rico? And all of a sudden, Aragi hits top form, but now Nesto activated. Down to 1 versus 2, but LSR stands tall and puts the attack inside of VNR onto 3. And you spoke about the last round being costly, so BABO's causing a lot of damage to VNR's economy with this one.
And honestly, I've got to put that one, even though it was a stinger round, Nesto had an opportunity there to pretty much have 3 people lined up in front of them, neither are facing, but just misses the timing. And VNR looking so clean on that one, and this Harbor, which I spoke about, they're just using to such great effectiveness. They're not bothering with fakes. They're not bothering with trying to split the map. They're just going hyper aggressive, taking these fights, taking these sites, and it's working out so well for them. But with Rico in a power position, is going to be instantly taken out by LSR, and this player started off slow on Sunset, but has definitely picked up the pace on Lotus.
Yeah, the win condition fully activated, has the showstopper online already. But I like this adaptation. We've yet to see someone being placed deep. We spoke about it before, and Nesto just caught looking away for a second. The sights peaked first, and now the comms are great just to come in. Don't need to push on to C. Yep. We knew the rest of Babos were there. We can take the fight elsewhere and just hold up on A.
And it's dire as well, because when we look towards the ultimates that are available, Thrash available, Lockdown available as well, but 3 ults on the side of VNR. And it's 2 of them are pretty much guaranteed kill, right? Like Deadlock ult, Raze ult. Yep. I think unless you're really griefing it, they should be a guaranteed kill for you. And having both of those able to use and around just means that it's not going to get any better for Babos. They've got to look for a way to force some of these ultimates out, and maybe it's going to cost you a round next round, but if you can at least kind of damage the ult economy from the side of VNR, it'll be a little bit easier.
Yeah, and I mean, you have the Reckoning available as well. If you want to chuck that in with anyone else, then it just guarantees even more information, right? Or you use it for a site take or even for the retake. It's starting to look a little bit doomed for Babos Gaming's defensive side.
But then again, it is Lotus. You know, we do always call Lotus a more attack-sided map. I believe it's FNS that talks about Lotus and says Lotus is attack-sided if your IGL is good. If you have a good IGL, you can drag the other team around the map, always make them be having to second guess where you're going to be. And while VNR doesn't really have the utility to make those fakes happen, because they don't have access to those double controllers, they can't really deny that information. They've been doing such a good job still at just pulling Babos to wherever they want them. But with Rico... Oh, but it's the Harbour Wall, Veg!
Oh, but the cat... Oh, I thought Syntex was behind, going to catch that up, but now the weapon upgrade has been activated. The spike will start to come through. The paranoia is great, just to hold Rico for even longer. There comes the Reckoning. Will start to just push people off. LSR has to push off the angle, but you still have 2 ults, which will cost us, but you don't want to invest them on the eco. And this time it's LSR that goes unchecked.
Discipline.
It gets one, looks for another, but it doesn't matter. It's Snapter and Aragi clean that one up, and VNR go on to 5. But once again, it's a close round.
Oh, but you look at that now, and timeout going to be taken, I think, at the perfect opportunity. The economy is going to be good. It's going to be in a state where they can actually buy up. And not only that, They're going to have pretty much all 5 ultimates. I believe that in the Shan is only 1 point away, so they should have all of their ultimates online to be able to use in this round. And if they can use them effectively, should be a good way to get yourself back into the game with a little bit of momentum. It's scary, though, when you look at the fact that Rolling Thunder also only 1 ult point away, and Showstopper is active still. They haven't been able to get that one out of VNR. VNR still can use that one when they want it. And I think if Babos did their homework, they didn't do it well enough. Maybe they just copied from someone else. They paid, you know, someone else to do their homework for them. And yeah, ChatGPT'd their homework, because so far they don't have the same reads that they did on Sunset.
Yeah, but like you said, with it being kind of an attacking-sided map, that Babos Gaming won't be feeling too down about it, that they roll with Double Initiator and Neon, so they do massively favour that attacking side themselves. And I think one of the ways that they could combat that is by going a little bit more aggressive. We've seen them tease the aggression, but never fully commit onto it. However, I talk about them wanting to be more attacking. I think VNR just hold their defense down so well with that Cypher being online as well. It's a really tough one to get through. But now that the timeout has been called, can they find any success off of this?
All members stacked here, Veg. This could be what they needed. The Overdrive leads the charge. But with a Showstopper to counter, both teams just trade it out, ult for ult. And that's information gathered, information gained. And knowing VNR, they want to back away. But Rico, no, tries to go too aggressive and is just going to be caught out.
Tried to play off the retake, but caught there, like you said. But Nesto this time playing off the Cove in a similar position. Thrash connects, teammates have to hold. The Rolling Thunder will be enough to hold, and Syntex tries to take the rope to capitalise, but will fall down as Nesto collects another. Uses the lockdown to clear space. A Rolling Thunder answered back to find more, but Nesto, the hero of the round, collects a third, and Marco finishes that one off as Babos Gaming collect their second round on Lotus.
But 4 ultimates needed to win that one out. They used absolutely everything. They have nothing left. They're going to have to start those charges up. And on the flip side, Deadlock ult still available. They can still pull someone into that realm. They can still bring over the cocoon, get themselves that free kill of a member trying to sneak around on site. And it's so difficult because you've used all the stuff that you needed, did secure yourself around, and now the important thing is, can Rico make this operator work?
They play off a set play, the Dizzy going up, the shock in as well, and it looked like the stun was being prepared, but will not find any success as the C hit comes in. The high tide is up. That will cut off all the angles, but the Omen smoke is good enough to hold off VNR this time, and they will now think about rotating. But Rico is still held up in a great position to catch anyone pushing back.
Snapter just looking for any aggression, but Rico just about misses that shot, but being Neon, that stun can stall out the push. They need to do what they can. They need to stall for time, and they've somehow managed to normalize a little bit of pressure, and a lovely shot there means that VNR has to run away with their tail between their legs. With Snapter being a little bit cheeky here. Could be just what they need to get this C site.
Oh, okay, Snapter pulling off the FaZe Clan trick shots coming up the wall to stall for extra time on C here as well. The high tide once again gone back up just to capture any vision away. And the Deadlock fishing ult gone in. Will capture Marco, and that just baits some shots, but Marco still falls to the death, and Goblin Barrel has to peek back up, and Babos Gaming find themselves back in a fight chance. Wingman sent to the rescue. Jamal has to hold down, will be immediately stopped, and now the push comes in. Devin pushes out, finds one. Rico gets shorted down, but the defuse is being stuck, and Goblin Barrel steals the round from VNR's eyes and picks up the kill just to add further damage to the Goblin.
And just about gets the AWP. A bit of an overreaction from me, maybe, as someone saving a weapon, but I think it's pivotal here. I think Babos needs everything they can get, and saving that operator into the next round is so key for them. It's what started that round. It's what forced the pivot over towards C, and while it was looking a little bit risky, it does go the way of the Babos, and if they can win another one here, damn the economy a little bit more from Veneer, even this round score up, it can be looking to put them in a good stead. With the economy about even, we might see a battle for these orbs. A1 going to be claimed for one side, C going to be swapped over, and Rico denied the information. They're not sure it's going to be a C hit just yet, but Nesto finding that opening pick. It's going to be traded out, and now they know.
Yeah, that confirms the hit is alive and active. Bomb is down, and now Veneer just have to hold on. We've seen them do it time and time again, but Babos, after finding some success, will be hoping that they can activate it again. Popping down, finding their way through, have to break the wall, but LSR held on site, finds one, but Marco is quick to trade it, keeping this one at odds and numbers. Devon tries to peek out the door, but all it does is cause a distraction for Marco to get a 4K as Rico diffuses.
And to be honest, that round a little bit crazy, a little bit chaotic. One moment they have the site, next moment half of them are dead, and it's all off the back of Marco. Lovely play with their utility there. I believe it was the fault line stunning up those members trying to escape from Mound. And as soon as they're dead, that retake becomes all that much easier. And as soon as we call out Babos for ChatGPTing their homework, the reads start to come in. And it's kind of been off the back of that timeout. They've figured what they need to do to adjust, to put themselves in a good stead. And they're wanting now to aggress on both sides and get that operator in a key position.
Yeah, the first shot not missing, and will have to push off. Will get stunned up now as well, and will have to push away, but the Reckoning activated once again, but doesn't collect on Nesto, and they're able to catch off LSR, looking to get that op offline, and will fall down for it. Veneer pivoting on to be a site where they've won once before. Will try and dodge the thrash, but it doesn't work as it does connect, and now the chaos coming in, the utility being spammed, and Marco once again able to capitalise on the situation. A tap of the spike to hold it down and force a reposition to come in from as Nesto is stuck behind this wall, trying to bait out any time and just waste as much time as possible for Rico to get into this position. But Aragi fully aware it could happen and will pick up the kill, and it's going to leave Nesto in a really difficult position. Does get on site, but they're done more than ready for the tap. The swing could capture them, but holding so far back that they have to push away, and that allows Snapter to push up and get the kill and put Veneer onto 6.
And right as they need it, Veneer wins out another round, gives themselves at least an even half at the very worst. And with how close these rounds have been, it means that instantly for that round loss, Babos forced into a save. They are still opting to force this one and see what weapons they can bring into it. Just an operator and a couple of little bits and pieces. They can't really decide themselves. Yeah. It's pretty much like a load of little kids have just brought their big brother and just hoping that their big brother wins.
But it's a dangerous strategy because you go into the next round with some poor money unless you can pick up the kills, but the team hoping Rico can collect, and collect they have with the first player down. Jamal, the solo controller, gone, and just like that, Veneer's plans almost collapse and now rely on Babos making a mistake so that the sites can be opened.
Syntax getting that information outside B, knowing that there's not a player pushed up there. It means their options are limited, but a trap play from Babos could be everything they need here, Veg.
Yeah, but the weapons are so weak from the remaining side here that there's not too much. The Showstopper invested and does connect, and Snapter picks up another one to follow through. And all of a sudden, Babos Gaming find themselves losing 2 members. the Collector Rolling Thunder invested into that as well, and it will just call for the hit to be over on C. And you look how far up Snapter is. Collected all this space, the wall placed down earlier. Goblin Barrel has to push through, but Marco is coming in massive, gets 2 kills. The Nest collects 1, and that will be Rico falling to the deadlock. Reeled in, the catch complete. And the round.
I honestly have no idea how Marco got 2 kills there. Just Spectre sprints down into Mound and kills 2 people. That's some psychotic behavior. That's crazy from them right there. It's a wild round to say the least. It's going one way. BABO almost pulls it back. Veneer wins it out. But the important part is they've lost the operator. And now with 4 members over towards this C site, if they can't find a fight here with this overdrive, this round should be over.
It all comes down to it, but we've seen Rico find the answers before, but the pace is everything. All 4 members that were on C pushing up fast and furious, trying to contain this B. Nesto quickly up onto the Nest themselves, and they have them like a rat in the cage, pinched right where they want them. But what they haven't factored in for is Syntax picking up a 3k. LSR follows it. The overdrive, like you said, not collecting a single beat, and LSR will sweep that one up as Rico falls and Veneer go to 8.
And that's the issue with going for a set play on a map like Lotus. It's such a big map that unless you get the read exactly right, it's unlikely that you're going to be able to find the enemy straight away pushing through. It's that set play there, very reliant on Veneer going hyper aggressive towards Mound, which hasn't been something they've showcased. They've often been relatively slow with their pushes, and they've taken their time on their defaults to gather this information, and it just blows up in BABO's face. And swapping sides now, they are moving over to their attack. I would say they are more favored with the composition they have, but on the flip side, double Sentinels for Veneer is a scary prospect to push into.
Yeah, and playing straight into the set play, but the Dizzy is good to just hold it back, and Devon finds the answer. Snapter answering right back. The stuns are great to connect, and it will allow actually for Veneer to take the advantage. Nesto not wanting to go down without a fight will come down to this 1 versus 2. Spike on their side of the wall has the Sheriff in hand, but the high-low looks great for Veneer as the swing will come in. They find 1, almost collecting the second, and now this is getting close. But Aragi, calm, cool, and confident to pick that one up.
And it's a round that BABO needed to give themselves the opportunity at this comeback. What have we got? Okay. Sorry, the viewers will see in a second after we finish off this replay. We've got a bit of a cult following of. I feel like this is BABO all gathered together around the Lotus, trying to curse Veneer so that they could get themselves a victory. They're calling to the Lotus gods, hoping that someone's monitor turns off mid-fight. But Veneer has just been so good with this composition. And look at the Harbor shutting off any prospect of a B or a C push. Rico trying to be a little bit greedy, trying to be a little cheeky by this wall. But they're just in the information gathering stage of the round. They're just trying to figure out where the holds might be, where the pushes are. Veneer just following them around the map wherever they go.
Yeah, and they get the information. The turret has collected a push up on A, but the wall was enough to hold it back for now. But as time dictates, the wall dissipates, and now the space can be taken and cleared. The Snapter tucked up will get taken down by the Sheriff, and Rico looking to collect more as Goblin finds 1, and a lovely swift flick of the Sheriff collects another name. The gun upgrades are available, and they will start to head their way on to B as this side of Veneer split up, unsure where the attack is going to commence, and it's all falling apart. Syntax find the answer. No, Rico shuts it down. The Bulldog now in their hands, and LSR, who's been having a game so far, has it all to do. 4 players, 2 on lower HP, has to dodge Lil Bro, but will be spotted out, and the Sheriff will not be enough. But it will be for Nesto as BABO Gaming convert the Thrifty.
And I thought the reads were perfect there from the side of VNR. They were following BABOS around the map, and they were always just kind of leading them to wherever they wanted to be, as yet another following of people praying for another victory win from BABOS.
It worked last round.
It worked last round. Now they've gathered around again. They've bought more members, a couple more members. They've got a penguin there as well. Just staring off into the abyss. Maybe we'll see if it works again as a play towards Mound from LSR. Nets nothing. The shorty misses, and in the chaos of the opening of this round, it is going to be going the way of BABOS. It was what we expected. They just want to kind of set the precedent that they can be aggressive too as they're sprinting onto site.
Yeah, just trying to cause any damage that they can. And it will just fall down to this one remaining member of Aragi. Will try and dodge the wingman, but will not dodge the master, as Ash Ketchum is there to claim the kill as BABOS start to rack up the rounds. That's so unlucky with the shorty. It's so unlucky.
Yeah, it's the fact that they almost had that one there, just leaping into action. And I mean, do you think VNR starting to get worried, or still all part of the game plan? I mean, the rounds that they lost, one was an unlucky thrifty, the other one was a save round. So I think game's still in their hands, but if they lose this one, it's looking a bit more risky.
Yeah, this is where it gets tense now that we're kind of getting closer to the as much of a full buy as we can be after a thrifty has been converted, that where we see both teams playing to their game plan. And Wingman will just walk. I don't like when Wingman walks into a trap. It's so sad. Like, they're just like, I don't know what they're doing. But anyway, the spike is a safe enough place to be reclaimed. No one for VNR is on site. Devon doesn't really have much access to take any extra space. But this lockdown will force so much time away now that the spike has been placed down, that VNR just have to get as close to site as possible and start this retake. But the post plants are up from BABOS.
And absolutely no one in sight at all. Nothing going to be caught. They know there's no one tree now, so the retake is activated. But with the utility being spammed by both sides, it's going all in the favor of VNR. Not even VNR, sorry, BABOS. VNR's having to run away. They're on a safe edge. I'm dizzy. I'm getting lost in the source.
Yeah, the plant was just so good. It could be held from behind, and it allows BABOS to collect, but Rico maybe getting a little bit too much on the sauce themselves there with that apex movement, gets picked up by the spike exploding. But ultimately, what it comes down to is the spike being placed and just being able to held from main, knowing that the whole side of VNR are going to come from spawn. They're not going to be able to clear out this angle, thanks to especially Evan holding on stairs, that it's just safe to hold from there and get the spam kills.
A save for the side of VNR again. Means that BABOS, if they can play this one well, if they can take their time, if they can, the real issue is setting themselves up for these post plants. That's where VNR has really been good. It's their attacking plays that has set them ahead. But with 4 members rotating over, a Thrash leads in the charge. It's looking like this might be another BABOS round.
Yeah, but ahead of it is Syntex. The trapwire collects one, collects another, and Snapter pushing out of the smoke will collect another. As the round looked so good for BABOS, and like you said, it's just falling apart so quickly. VNR in a position they never thought they would be with how that round was looking. Having baited out the Thrash as well, they will be extraordinarily happy. They have 4 weapon upgrades on site. They don't need to peek. They can just hold around. They know where Nesto is. They've got all the free time in the world.
Call of Duty players going to be loving it right now. Scavenger Pro activated on site. Pretty much get your choice of weaponry that you want. There's a bit of everything. There's a Judge, there's Phantoms, there's Vandals. It's a whole fire sale out here. And with 25 seconds dwindling down, Nesto gonna have to save. I think maybe at best looks for a couple kills, maybe tries to get that lockdown a little bit earlier, but you don't want to be taken out here. There's time dwindling down, and as soon as this kill happens, I mean, that should be it. That should be it, okay? That should be it. No one else should peek. Unless they're greeding for it. They really want that kill. The Thrifty's there. The kill is there as well. Wanting to damage that economy. And, I mean, it doesn't really do too much, considering Nesto was on 9k. Pretty much could buy 2 different people if they want.
Yep.
But Overdrive going to be able to be used by Rico again. We've seen them be very aggressive with this ultimate. I think it then becomes in the hands of VNR of whether they want to fight into that or if they want to back away. And with how many players at A, maybe they're expecting another aggressive play towards Rubble. They want to counter that.
I like the setup. They have just played right on to see, and Syntax forced to play off the camera quickly dealt with. But once again, the high tide is reactionary. It's fast. It stops any entry coming in, and BABO Gaming just forced once again just to wait this out.
But there was a bit of information denied. Side of VNR doesn't know if someone's crept up onto C. Obviously, the neon wall placed. Someone could have followed that in, and pings going over towards spawn. They're not sure right now. There's a lot of question marks on the map. And that smoke leading a possible B hit could be the information that it needs.
Yeah, the information now being followed up. Jamal is able to capitalise on the stun coming in from the deadlock utility. And that gets the reckoning. Online still, Rico stun up, but the high tide prepared. The reckoning comes in. The positions in main will be pinged out, and it's just a recon to where these players are, and it will halt everything with 25 seconds on the clock. BABO Gaming forced into a reposition, and it's been read. The stun is great, and all of a sudden VNR repositioned on C, ready for this as the timer ticks down. And Robinson ready with the countdown coming through, and all that's going to be counted to is the save.
All 5 members left alive from VNR. I think that's so important here. There's often kind of the bigger issue of when you're behind in rounds, you've got to be winning so many rounds to obviously get yourself back in it, but also you've got to be battling against that economy. There's never going to be a situation now where VNR, having saved all 5, they're going to be able to buy another 2, maybe 3, maybe even 4 rounds into this. So even if BABO can string a couple of rounds ahead of them, it's going to be a very big uphill battle, especially considering that their economy itself is in such a weakened state.
I'm out of here.
The swing round now activated, but the stun utility is great. Snapped her, capitalising. They've played this to perfection, holding behind the wall, peeking off as BABO Gaming fall apart. For LSR is going to push the molly and the nano swarm anyway, just to make this one close, to give Nesto a chance in this. But the spike has to be collected, the flank has to be dealt with, and Syntax, not a thought in the world for Nesto as they claim the body, and VNR head to map point.
And pretty much no money for BABO here. No money, no chance, and a lot of problems because they have been figured out. VNR always one step ahead, and I feel like this comes off the back of not much information gathering being done in these defaults. BABO wasn't aware that it's been a very aggressive A-hold that's been coming out from VNR pretty much every round, and they weren't ready for it. And now they want to battle into it again. They feel like they have the read, they feel like they have the counter, but they're running straight into 4 members.
Yeah, the utility spam coming in. The overdrive invested will be shut down. The showstopper stops all the show, but into the shadows picks up 2 kills. The mad play from Devon is enough to cause the disruption, and Goblin Barrel can capitalise, not knowing where to look for LSR, and Devon collects third for the round. And what looks so good for VNR has been absolutely folded by the Into the Shadows just shuts it all down, and Babos find another life.
And that has to be the most ballsy Into the Shadows play I've ever seen. Just TPing into the open, and it works so well. I mean, completely shuts down the attack because you've got all members focused towards that one angle. I was literally about to point out, only Rico made it out of main. Only Rico made it out of these arches. But it didn't matter because Devin was in such a good spot that they could just take him out from behind. And once again, another aggressive play, but this time, Babos will give them the space and rotate over towards C.
It's almost as if VNR want that. The wall goes up so early that no space could be taken away, and they will play into Syntex. Cam online, trip still available. The Wire's ready to pounce on any aggression to take more space as the rest of VNR assemble their way on site. The first trip is activated, the first kill comes through for Syntex, and now it's about the retake as Devin collects one but is caught in the Wire. The Cove online is great, it will just waste some shots, and the Rolling Thunder forces Babos Gaming so far back, but still the spike has to be stopped, and it won't as Nesto does their best in picking up 2 kills, but VNR hold strong and collect Lotus.
And it's honestly just such good game planning from the side of VNR, and the way that they played their defense half was almost to perfection. We saw there it was a very aggressive A push, and I think the key point that I mentioned there was I said, oh, they're pushing A. The entirety of Babos is sprinting towards C, and you said maybe that's what VNR wanted, and it seemed like it was. Those Cypher trips set up for backside. They were set up for the retake. It wasn't to stop the initial push. They played that one so well to counter what they thought Babos might want to do in that round.
Yeah, absolutely. It was something I wanted to highlight as well, was where the Cypher trips were set up. I was going to say it not mid-round, but just before the start of the round, but the way the fights go through, they're so fast off of A that you're absolutely spot on. Instead of playing those aggressive trips off the main checkpoint as soon as the opponents come in, they're aware that you can play backside, you can hold for your life and wait for the rest of the team coming up, and you have those tripwires that if anyone thinks about taking any aggression, you're there. It doesn't even matter if you get smoked off, because boom, you're dead. I can see you, and you're in my wire. What do you mean? I'm playing you like a fiddle, and it has worked to perfection. And VNR a little bit closer maybe than we expected, but they collect the map anyway.
Yeah, and definitely the point to bring home is closer than we expected. Babos still fighting in here. It wasn't like it was a complete clean sweep. It wasn't a wipe. Yes, VNR kind of figured them out, but I feel like every time it got down to these clutch situations, it was VNR winning out, and a few of those go the other way. Babos is the team that gains the momentum. We know Valorant is a very momentum-based game, and we could have saw that series going the other way. Sorry, that map, not even the series.
Yeah, the series is still alive and well. We're still here. We have Ascent coming up next. And what will be important is how both of these teams play it. We spoke about how Deadlock was picked, and I spoke specifically about how we've seen Deadlock being picked on Ascent. So will that be something that comes into play? Well, we're just going to have to wait and find out, Snow, because we are going to take a short break and head into Ascent right after. So don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back.
That's why they call me undisputed. I'm ranking up another season. I've been up on my stats. Now would you look at that? Undefeated, locked and loaded. We about to blow. Caught him with that left, I leave him tapped out on the floor. Sounding itchy, sticky, swishy. Watch me bank a score. Up in the boat, I'm in the zone. Yeah.
Culture to fire the breath. King of the jungle and beat my chest. They say I'm posing the threat. Just like a pebble, I'm cutting the net.
Ring on my finger, but yes. Like playing chess and I don't even sweat. That's what I call it finesse. That's what I call it finesse. Ain't no rivals, ain't no rivals. They can try, but they're never ever slowing me down. On arrival, this is my show. Crossing my heart, they know we are undefeated. That's why they call me undisputed. I'm ranking up another season. I've been up on my stats. Now would you look at that? I pop on with the jumper, then the adios. Gotta go. I'm the prima donna, make him do the most. Not enough, I'm just warming up. Way up in the cut. Oh, I'm ready to hunt. Time to eat it up. Oh. 1, 2 step, look who's scared. Now you on the run. You gon' hear my soundtrack go dun 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 dun. I'll be starting riots when I pull the stun. I got him shook, I'm on a road, check my stats. Ain't no rivals, ain't no rivals. They can try, but they're never ever slowing me down. On arrival, this is my show. Crossing my heart, they know we are undefeated. That's why they call me undisputed. I'm ranking up another season. I've been up on my stats. Now would you look at that? Hey, even though it's been a long way, even at the top, I'm wide awake. Yeah, you know it's XG, and we do it all again. We the ones that can't be. Oh, just remember the time, remember the climb. Not a glitter and shine. Oh, we on top of the world. Need I remind you? They know we are undefeated. That's why they call me undisputed. I'm ranking up another season. I've been up on my stats. Now would you look at that?
I need to watch out for this people holding his angle. Oh my word!
Still forced to swing and does do so with the top grab read. Not expecting the second one there. Lewis Stone with the blade stone is going crazy.
Drop down the operator and pick up the battle. Last round and care. He's not able to get anyone as the counter clash is there. But the deadlock tries to steal his teammate away, but he's gonna be surviving immediately. With the team playing hard, he's just gonna deal some damage, but he's gonna be easily taken out. And OOT just way too aggressive. Yeah.
Oh, I see the vision.
Gotcha. We baited you. You thought we were taking another break, but we're not. We're back for map number 3. The exciting, never seen before, first release. It's Ascent.
It is. It is Ascent. To be honest, I'm still distracted by the fake break. I thought we were just gonna run the VT and I was just gonna be jamming, and then all of a sudden it's just a break again. I mean, for me, I love that music. That's the one thing I love about the intro, Reggie. I don't know if you ever look at the cams, because obviously we have ourselves, well, I have you in like my other screen, like completely full screen, so I can look into your eyes as we cast together. But
mate, I have the game in the smallest of windows, and
Yeah.
you are just on a 50-inch screen in front of me.
Yeah, I'm not in my room. This is a green screen. I'm in a cinema and I have a laptop that's playing the game, and behind is like IMAX version of your face. That's all I'm looking
I
at.
see what you done there. IMAX. No.
Oh, you're so cringe. It wasn't even on purpose. But for those of you not realizing, Veggie's just doxed himself and his name's Max, so now you know. And his social security number is 33.
Whoa, how do you know?
I know. I have my reasons. But
You
back onto the more important thing, Veggie. No one wants to know about us. They don't care about us.
Yep.
They care about the games that we cast. And those of you that haven't viewed the stream already, waiting for the game to start so that you can unmute, we're going to talk to you a little bit about what's happened so far. And that's been 2 maps back to back that have been kind of dominant from both these sides. First one, BABOS kind of dismantled VNR on Sunset. We then swapped over to Lotus, and VNR on the flip side kind of had BABOS' number. Was a little bit closer, a 13-8, but now coming into Ascent, we were talking about it in the green room, the expectation is that VNR can carry on their momentum and kind of pull themselves to a win in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. But the big question for me comes into it is, what do VNR bring in? Are we likely to see the similar comps that are always ran? Do they mix it up a little bit? We've seen the deadlock coming in, and honestly, I thought the deadlock was very useful on Lotus. It broke a lot of choke points for VNR. It allowed them to take extra space, and then when they did take extra space, we've seen it once on C, where we blocked off, I think it was Waterfall, and then started pushing up through spawn. And it's just little things like that that a deadlock pick can throw away any opportunity that BABOS Gaming think they have into the read, and that's why I won't be too shocked if we see it coming into Ascent, just because it's enough to misplace how BABOS want to play the game.
And to be honest, I think one thing that I forgot to account for when you talk about that deadlock is the fact that it's linked with the Cypher. Oftentimes you think about Sentinels, you spread out that utility so that you can cover more of the map. A very clever thing that VNR did was they would put a Cypher trip and a deadlock trip right next to it. So if you shoot the Cypher trip, you're instantly stunned, and it gives an opportunity for a counterplay from VNR. And it was just great to see that kind of innovation come through in a tournament like this, where VNR thinks one step ahead and they go, okay, most of the time people will spread out the 2 Sentinels, try to kind of split the map in that kind of way, but instead they go, let's stack the Sentinel utility on a site and really play off of it.
Yeah, and flipping the switch slightly back to the focus on BABOS Gaming is, we've only seen them play Rico on Neon. Ascent, not really a map that's ever had Neon famously played on it. I can't think of any team that's ran a composition with a Neon. So is it going to be something that comes into it? That I don't know, I just feel like, is Rico a one-trick Neon? Or is are they going to be able to adapt onto any different situations?
And I think the main thing that we have to look at here is the biggest issue for both these teams is how they play the post plans. The post-Ps have been really pivotal in this match and how it works, because VNR has been a team that was so good on the retakes towards Lotus. I mean, BABOS wasn't really able to keep the site in check, and it was the same flip side on Sunset. BABOS will get onto site, VNR just wouldn't be able to manage that retake on defense. So with how these teams have been playing so far, I think for Ascent, the side that starts defense is going to have a big advantage.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally, that is how it plays through, right? Ascent being so defensive heavy, but I mean, it's just took all my flow away from me. Just seeing Rico insta-lock that Neon coming in, Snapster picking up the deadlock. All my questions have been answered within 10 seconds of this agent select. But the interesting one was going to be the Astra, but Jamal Volts has changed that up to Omen anyway. And you'd have to imagine that Devin and Nesto will be playing what we've seen them on so often, of that Omen and the Killjoy coming through. But I really like that idea of Snapter picking up this deadlock again.
The deadlock picked up again, but it's at the cost of no flash initiator. And KO has been such a key pick for this map, because the denial of utility is so important, because there's not much space to play these sites. So the info that KO can gather, the fact that you can shut down these sentinels with a few lineups, and also the amount of one-way flashes and cheeky little pop flash spots that KO has been so pivotal to team success within this one. And so the fact that you get rid of that for the deadlock means that VNR really confident in this pick. And you spoke about Neon not really picked during Ascent. I'm with you there. It's not a agent that I've seen selected a lot, so I'm interested to see how BABO uses this one.
Yeah, the map just doesn't feel like it opens up to a lot of Neon potential. There's a lot of really tight choke points that become hard to clear with your Neon. Yeah, you have the sort of dashes to get away, but you need to be in prime movement for them to be most successful. And what Ascent really boils down to, once you've got the heat on, is getting an operator online and getting an Odin online. And the two best agents for both of those guns are on VNR's side. The Jet for the operator and the Sova for the Odin.
Yeah, I mean, you got Sova on both sides. You kind of countered with that. But what we've seen a lot of the time, it's interesting that you mentioned that point of the operator. We've seen a lot more, especially on defense, Omens and Killjoy Sentinels kind of picking that up. Leaf has been a big proprietor of not only the Outlaw that people have known that player for, but also picking up the operator on defensive rounds on this Killjoy, because it is a very good defensive weapon. Yes, you can't really utilize it on attack with those same aids, but on defense, when you're holding angles, it can be so effective. But that's a question that we're going to have answered later on. For now, we've got the pistol round. We've got a lot of members stacked towards mid. Mid pressure seems to be the aim of the game.
The aim of the game. Can any team find success? The flash comes in and Rico capitalizes, picking off 2 kills, but LSR is there to equalize that back straight up and keep this one at 3 apiece, but lost a lot of health folding into this one, down to 40. Enrico is looking for some more aggression.
But it means information is going to be on the side of this VNR squad. We see them moving over towards B, but BABO predicted it perfectly. All 3 members are going to be here, but there's doubt. There's doubt in the minds of BABO as they're backing away as this site happens. Marco has to go huge, but with that kill coming through, Devin moves back site. Rico picks one up as well, and the question is, do they stay? Do they back away? And it seems to be the Prior.
Yeah, do they stay or do they go? Which way, I just don't know. But the fight falls to VNR's hands. 3Ks for LSR and Rico. The duelists really doing their best to keep this one close, but the attacking side take first blood.
And it's unconventional, right? It's not always our expectation. People talk about defense on Ascent. They talk about the retakes, the fact that this map can be so good for the defensive side. You're normally expecting to see something like a 7-5 and 8-4, and taking that initial pistol round puts you in a good stead to get the second and really start that snowball. As Rico's spotted out, has to back away. But this shotgun could go huge.
Yeah, but the drone is going to be enough to push off the reload on 1 bullet. Maybe the wisest choice is LSR sat there with the bucket, but Marco picks it up and collects 2, but LSR once again after round 1 stops this one from getting out of control and picks up a 4K. Started off map number 2 hot and has carried that form straight into Ascent.
The question is, does LSR hunt for the ace right now? Has the 4K already? And it looks like they want to take this opening fight. Dart is going to go in first. That gives LSR an opportunity if they want to jump up, but instead just stays on this one. And it's so tense, man. You know LSR wants it.
Yeah, but what's important is to keep the gun, but collects the ace anyway. And I think something that we can potentially talk about going into this bonus, you have 3 guns carried over, but you also have the Blade Storm already available, and LSR chucks the Bulldog to a teammate, picks up a Sheriff, and I will not be surprised if we see some prime knives being flown around. It's getting hot, there's some kitchen nightmares, and that nightmare is falling down for BABO Gaming.
And that's scary, right? We saw LSR on the race. They were very effective, but not this effective. They weren't popping off to this same level on that race. And that is terrifying to see if you're a Babos Gaming fan. As LSR looking to push the pace, wants to carry on this aggression even more, but Rico just that little bit quicker.
A little bit quicker, the flash play trying to come in to enable Rico to collect another body, but Syntex ready for that. The flash this time is good as Devin collects one, looking for Jamal, stuck in the corner, and will have to TP away, but it'll be heard, but not quite checked. Swings, gets one, and Devin left on such low health. This isn't a fight that you necessarily want to take, but Jamal at the same time has Spike and will continue to push up onto this site as the rest of VNR gathering their way to join the team.
Ping's already onto site as well. They're guessing the positions. They know that there might be one there. And Devin has a big task ahead of them right now. 3 members heading towards them. Needs to stop this push.
Yeah, the paranoia doesn't connect, and Devin can tuck behind this box and wait for the opportunity. Pounces for one, but Syntex collects another and another. And once again, forcing this down all the way for Nesto. A 1 versus 2. They've been in this situation time and time again over the last 2 maps, and will have to come up huge to prevent VNR from converting a thrifty, and finds one, but the tripwire is solid. The shots connect from Syntex, and another 4K, and we're only on round 3.
It's a perfect position from Syntex right there that wins them the round, and aggressive play coming through from VNR. Works out in their favor. We saw BABO counter it. Babos trying to flash themselves into main. They're able to pick up a few kills, but at the end of the day, it's a health pool that's taking low on Devin that really loses them that round. Can only really be good for 1, and with a bonus 1, it's so difficult now. It's expected to be a 4th round, but with a judge in the hands of Nesto, that could be so important on this A side.
Rico looking for the aggression, gets hit with the tripwire, but it doesn't matter. It's Nesto has pushed out the other side with the judge and collects 2. The jail cell fills up, and VNR left only with 2 players left. The thrifty being quickly converted to classic, pushes out to collect a 3rd. And Babos Gaming have once again put themselves in a position to claim this thrifty. Snapter will have to live up to the name. The alligator must collect multiple bodies to save this round, and it's a tough situation as Rico collects as the rest of the team gathered up and pushed on site, and Babos Gaming rescue this defensive half.
Nesta went so huge right there. The double kill with the shotgun, you would have been happy. That would have been enough. You would have been like, Nesto's done their job in this round. To push through the smoke with the classic and get a
psychotic.
3rd. Yeah, it is psychotic. It's genuinely a play that you're just not expecting. They would turn away. They're like, okay, doors closed. This is fine. And the fact that Nesto was the weak side of the map as well and manages to do that, so huge for the side of Babos. And VNR, not a fan of that. They're just pushing straight through into main. They want to negate any chance of an aggressive play from Babos here.
Yeah, but this aggression has found its way up B main checkpoint. Not wanting to push too much and reveal what's in Rico's hands, because we spoke about court being in session before, but it could all be about to open up as Rico waits for LSR to come round the corner. And like a hungry person waiting outside Domino's, collects the slice and will pick up the kill. The gun being left unmanned can be collected and upgraded, but the judge has found so much success for them so far that you don't need to.
Finished.
But it does anyway. And Nesto, a little bit muddy,
Clean.
picks
Clean.
up the kill. Clean.
Clean.
If that was clean, I don't want to see your underwear. Like, come on now.
It's definitely a fight. That's for sure what happened. But at the end of the day, you're happy if you're Babos. It does go their way. And with 2 rounds on the board, should be now, With only 20 seconds left, we're going to see these rifles be saved. Veneer wants to keep their economy a little bit in check and have something going into this next round. And it gives us time to kind of reevaluate what's been going on so far. Veneer started so strong, but now Babos, I think they've taken a bit of a chance to sit back and really just wait for Veneer to make a mistake. Before, they were playing so aggressive into these early rounds, looking for these early kills, and it was just being countered. And now Babos have realized we don't actually need to go that aggressive. If we just sit back, Veneer is going to push into us. They don't have the flash utility to really claim that space, and we can just look for these counter plays.
I think that's absolutely the peak point. You mentioned it when Agent Select came up, and it's not having the flashes really stops Veneer making a lot of set plays happen. Yes, you have the paranoia, but it can't be played off on the same way that a KO pop flash through a wall do, and you can see it come into full effect. 3 members tagged up by the KO flash, but don't get capitalised. The deadlock ult goes in and collects 1, makes this a 3 versus 2 if the res can come in.
The issue is that whoever goes aggressive seems to lose in this game. It's whoever pulls the trigger first gets countered, and that time it was Babos being taken out, and with a lockdown being able to be used, Veneer has an option. Do they play aggressive or do they play back? And it seems that aggression is the option here.
And the Hunter's Fury now invested to capitalise on shutting that lockdown down. Planted out and open. But the problem with having to invest that Hunter's Fury so early is now you have to face into the shots, and the own is not what you want to face into when it comes down to the spamming.
And the issue is there's a little bit of a mismatch in terms of where the players want to play, because you have one player playing forwards, the Cypher there, really looking for that aggressive peak to try catch the timing of when they want to push off the lockdown, and the other players backing away into main. It means that you're split apart, and very clean, succinct retake from Babos, just isolating the fights, really taking 2 versus 1s whenever they can, and gaining an opportunity there to pull themselves into an even scoreline. And it means that now, Veneer forced onto a save, and I'm expecting to see some aggression here to try counteract what Babos has been putting forwards.
I love it. We'll find success on Catwalk, but the models are able to swiftly navigate that one, but the knife collects for all the information gained. The flash will stop any pushes. The stuns just delay everything, but once again, the AWP doesn't collect, and Devon has to take some aggression to push out, but Jamal will take down their counterpart, and the wall stops even more, and once again, the Odin coming in huge.
And with that, it's made the round a bit of a weird position. LSR taken down there. Jamal is on site, could possibly get the bomb down. But with 3 members just waiting for their opportunity to strike, it's to go huge! And on an almost ace, Rico manages to stay calm, and with nerves of steel, clutches out a round that Babos needed.
Bro, the Ardus spot is so good. It almost collects all 5. If it wasn't for the operator, you feel like that round heads in to Veneer's favour. But it comes down, the missed shots at the start were not enough to turn off for Babos. And
There's so much utility now to work with. So many ultimates to work with as well. While the weaponry is even, the ultimate economy is definitely not so. And it means that another aggressive play from Rico could come through on a retake. And off of this jump peak, the question is, are they going to find this kill?
Yeah, will it come through? But maybe being wise, knowing that they've chanced their luck a little bit, preparing the smokes for their team so that they can start to prepare an attack, and the attack lurking outside of B. Will Rico take a pop shot? Yes, but it doesn't connect. But Aragi takes on Marco, pushing out of that cubby, and now the site hit just dwindles even further, making some noise outside of B, and will start to condense their way over there. But what they've not dealt with is any of this killjoy utility that's just going to delay them so far.
This would be the first proper B execute that we've seen. We've seen them go towards B before, but it's not quite worked out. We saw the pistol round. It was a split that ended up in a clutch, and with members moving forwards over towards B now, the rotates come through and they want to play this one aggressive on the side of Babos, and it seems to be working out with the spams. The Odin is ripping this VNR team to shreds.
Yeah, it's not what you want to be going into, but you have Syntax so far up on A now that the rotate is nice and easy. The path has been cleared, the snow has been shoveled away, and we can get there without any hazard. A nice plant, deep, to be held from everywhere, and Babos Gaming, an Odin and a Vandal to clear every checkpoint possible, and the first one that has to be cleared is Syntax. The drone will capture Goblin Barrel, and there's not much left to stop this coming in. The dart will reveal the first position and alleviate a little bit of pressure as everyone's focusing in on Goblin. Devlin is able to push up, but Barrel dealt with so fast that Devon doesn't know where to deal with once they get on site, and Aragi sat comfortably, able to collect a round and put VNR back onto a winning round eventually.
And it means that Babos still has money to work with, but not enough money for that operator. And that has been a key part to their hold so far. Rico's been able to find quite a few picks with that, and it's led them into some very good situations. I think, as is common with Rico, we might just see a judge here, or at least a more economical weapon as they look to use that overdrive for an aggressive play.
Pushes in, stun up, will get hit by this trip, but collects one and looks for another, but LSR Swift on the flank as well and collects another, but tries to push into that Odin, but wisely says, nah, don't quite find chances there. The lottery tickets have not won up, and I'll just play my life, allow my team to get any space. As you see Jamal pushing right up on Catwalk, snapped her, holding out A main, and this 3 versus 3 threads the needle of the defense, not really knowing where to hold down, and it all comes down to the gamble of hitting the right site.
Marco, going to be gathering this information mid, is going to see one of these players if they decide to move forwards, and I do like the idea of pivoting towards A. While it is the Killjoy site, if you can force this Killjoy away, it's a lot easier to play in terms of retakes. There's a lot more angles for the defense to have to clear, but on the flip side, that also means that when you're attacking, there's a lot more space that the defenders could be hiding in.
30
Yeah,
seconds
but it's
left.
also just not pushing into the Odin, right? Ultimately, that's what I'm worried about. Walking down into the Odin, the fake smoke forces out the KO as well, and that's going to reveal the position. And Jamal in a great position to collect one and the next, and that is huge. Dragging out the round win, but getting rid of that KO ult is going to cause problems further down the line for Babos Gaming.
I love the fake there, the fact that they wait until there's barely any time left on the clock and then choose to throw the smoke. And it means that if you're the side of Babos, you're thinking it has to be here. There's no way that they throw a smoke and don't capitalize off of it. And it works so effectively. They find the perfect timing for when that Killjoy goes to rotate, and it's just a free round for them.
But
and now the judge is active again, Reggie.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Judge is available, but the drone will be enough to push it off the angle, but will just about clear it. But the Sova has the Odin online again, and it's not something that you want to push into quite so easily.
With a judge on both sides now, this could look risky for Snapter. On the flip side, there's Hunter's Fury being used and only tags being gained. And BABO on this save have managed to even it out in terms of numbers. Gain themselves some access to weaponry. So maybe there's potential here, but Goblin Barrel has to go huge on this site.
Has to be the one to hold it down, the dart to go in, collect any wall bangs. The first kill comes in, but quickly dealt with by Syntax, and you have to feel that's one of the major win conditions in. Spike planted behind Dice just to be held off. Trying not to give the lineup a slightly differential on the high-low. It's like a forward back is what we'll call this one. So a forward back being held.
It's the God spot. It's absolutely insane, but the spam reads it.
It reads it like an open book. The flash isn't needed. The Odin collected. Nesto picks up the defuse.
Oh.
And Veneer ripped apart.
Okay. I need to talk about that, Veggie. That was from both teams pretty much played to perfection. That spot right there, what people don't realize, if you're going to use this in your solo queue games, please do, because it is so effective. Basically, you have both players watching stairs. It's kind of a high-low with the crouching player, so if someone peeks out, one of you should get the kill. Neither of you can be seen from lane. So unless it drops, in which you'll get a sound cue and you can swing off, you can't be seen. But the fact that BABO knows this as well and knows the perfect spot to spam is insane. And with that happening, we have action already into the round, Reggie. BABO doesn't want me to talk about how good they are because they just want to go forwards and they want to make plays happen.
Yeah, the Deadlock ult finds nobody. Oh, no, it finds someone, but quickly dealt with. The fishing rope isn't strong enough, and Rico, fresh out of the trap, collects a kill on Jamal, and Veneer down to 3. Will have to rethink about how they can attack this site, and not going to be able to access it quite as easily. The dart, the shock dart to break utility, but Killjoy has walked so far up a B that if the rotate comes in, you are not in a fun position.
Information gathered mid as well. They're closing the map onto Veneer, pinching where they could possibly be. The options dwindling, and this fight means everything for both these teams. But it is going to be backed away.
Yeah, Nesto just has to play this one to perfection. Can trade off Marco if that kill was coming through, but Nesto's position is so great. Collects one, and now all of a sudden you talk about information. This drone will gather up or no. It's 15 seconds left. The push has to come in. Sinte find one. The dart will hit both positions. The spam tries to collect and does, and now this spike planted by Generator, but there's no way for Snapter to survive efficiently. Has walled off guard and spots the player, but has to play off contact, and BABO able to double swing together. The Odin collects another victim and shows why this map belongs to the gun.
With a 6-5 half so far, it puts us into stead to see these teams finish this one out evenly, and I feel like there's no better ending to how this series has gone. We saw both these teams dismantle each other on their map pick, and coming into Ascent, if we start off with a 6-6 half, it's definitely keeping the same theme that these teams are ever so evenly matched. And with a weakened economy now from Veneer, it's a round that is very much favoured to the side of BABO, but with ultimates available, that Hunter's Fury can be used to gain an advantage for Veneer, and with 4 members over towards A, an aggressive play would be what they need.
Yeah, playing off of that Hunter's Fury to get early aggression onto A. Into the shadows, clipped up to take space on A also.
I know exactly.
And now, with the spike down, positions can be spotted out and just holding on the site. The weaker weaponry doesn't make too much of a difference when it comes down to holding it down, but that lockdown evens things up and can't be dealt with that Hunter's Fury invested so early. The attacking side have to fall down to Wine, have to just hold through, and Snapter will be dispatched, held in the trap, and now it's falling down to Rico. The tap of the spike baits out the drone,
Didn't come here to die.
and we'll just hold, looking to bait out the first shot. The drone just pulls right up, almost as if it's ready to explode, but the explosion comes from LSR as this game is tied up at 6 apiece and balanced on a knife's edge.
And the drone just menacingly flying towards you is you can't. There's nothing you can do. You can't defuse the drone spots you. You can't really go for the fight. There's the drone there. It's honestly the perfect piece of util to win them that round. And VNR bringing it to a 6-6 half means this pistol round is so much more important. This is going to tell us who's going to have the advantage, who's going to have the momentum moving forwards. And we see the one sheriff online for Nesto. I'm interested to see if they kind of go the Ustio strat of the entry killjoy here and sprint themselves onto site to follow Rico.
But Rico choosing to go down mid, uses the jet boost of the Adidas Nike branded shoes, all the pace in the world to create the pressure on mid, and it will just force X to have to hold back. Snapter, knowing that wall will hold off B main for now, no one able to push through it, but Spike planted outside of B, even though all this space has been taken up, and this tripwire could have caused a problem, but is noted out. It draws the paranoia as well, which is all this huge round winning utility for a pistol used as we just hit a minute on the clock.
A pistol round, lowered utility means that every single piece of util you use is that much more important. The door going to be broken now. And it seems like Babos are going to be able to gain the site, but it's not without cost.
The smoke just too late to stop the fight coming in, and VNR in an advantageous position. Yes, the spike is down, but 5 left alive for this retake. 2 positions known, and it could all come down to Nesto. Holding from B main. Can they find? They have to use, and the first one is collected. Is Lane is pressured, and the fight is held by 2, and Aragi collects 3 on the round to put VNR on to 7.
And it's that those 2 kills over towards stairs. Those were the round winning kills right there. It's the fact that Babos has the perfect read. They know that there's no one on B. They know they're playing for retake. They back away, but they just play it a bit too risky. They run down through stairs and they're instantly taken away, and that's led us into this moment, Veggie. It's that all-important gun that is always talked about. It is the Outlaw.
Your most favourite gun, isn't it? I think I'm slowly converting into a believer that this will be...
I've started using it, actually. I've actually started using it in my games, and I'm not going to lie, it is quite effective.
Yeah, it's very good, especially at draining the economy, but what is even better at draining the economy is Neon sliding right into Snapter and putting a bucket in your face. There's not too much math that you can do to find the answer to that solution, and that opens this one up in LSR. Despite having the Outlaw, we'll find 2 with the Sheriff, but in all this chaos, VNR have dropped to 1. It's Jamal and the Spike being noted, but not really in a favourable position to hold this one down either.
Playing gun game out here. They went from the Bucky, now they've got the Judge. It's an upgrade of shotguns. Jamal in a situation where they were hoping their team would have the advantage is actually going to end up being behind on this one, and it's a Thrifty coming through, and the amount of Thrifties we've seen in this series has been crazy. But the flip side is now the Outlaw being gifted over to Nesto on that attack side. Going to be a little bit weaker, but still that one-shot kill potential is so huge.
Yeah, you spoke about seeing it for Leaf, the Killjoy with the Outlaw. Never mind. Thanks, Nesto. I was building on to something and you just throw it away to pick up a Vandal. Fair enough. Thanks very much. GG go next. But the early aggression this time forcing outside of Beeb, and it'll find 2 as Jamal and Aragi collect it. The Vandal is down. The cover is taken by Goblin, but that one comes down, and once again we're looking to take your grandma's style as Macklemore is looking to finish this off. Marco does collect, and the Thrifty shop remains shut. Nobody is upgrading their style apart from Babos upgrading rounds.
And unlucky from Syntix there, just not able to find a weapon with any bullets. Sheriff, only 2 shots left. Bulldog picked up, but no bullets there. So it's just one of those situations where you're kind of left for dead, and still a lot of damage done to the economy. But considering Babos did not invest much into that round, they're not going to be worried about this one.
No, it's a round that they can afford to lose as long as you get back online swiftly with this round coming in and you do a decent chunk of damage into what was brought forward for Babos as well. So if you can start to build up that chunk damage, then it's acceptable. But meanwhile, all this space that's been taken up a mid near, just not really wanting to take any space on mid and just allow it to come through into the side of Babos, and Babos more than happy to take this, looking to venture in to Garden already, knowing that there's no tripwire left to deal with. They're just jumping about, toying, waiting for a shot to be given in a position to be outlawed.
But they know LSR is behind them and gets the first one and the second onto Devon, but it's the spike down as well, and that is the important part of it. Can VNR get members over here now, as they're trying to be too aggressive with it, but the timing is perfect. And this round just went from bad to worse for this Babos squad.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, it's fallen apart. 2 players left alive, positions noted. And Jamal, tucked down in wine, throws out the paranoia. And it doesn't connect. This time the hangover from all that wine is going to stop them progressing forward. And Nesto collecting a huge kill with 7 seconds on the clock. They need to do it all. Spike now stuck. The shock brings Nesto to 1 HP, and the second shock is brilliant as the round is collected.
And it's going to even up our scoreline here. Tit for tat. Both these teams battling back and forth. And I think the economy is going to be relatively even, as both teams are going to have to buy a few weapons back into this one, and they should have the money to do so. But the important part is looking at the ultimates that are available. We see the KO access to that utility denying ability where you can just shut down everything the enemy has to offer, and it's so important when you have double sentinels that you can play off of that utility on defense, and the fact that Marco can just shut this one down, so good for them.
Yeah, the knife trying to catch the Cypher earlier, any information that's possible, but the information that will be picked up is LSR taking an early peek down catwalk, addressing the fact that they've given up mid-space so frequently, and aware of that, capitalising on it this time to get the kill. But now, B slightly opened up, but the deadlock tech is here to be capitalised on as well. All the Sentinel utility has been played up, and the KO knife, if it's used, won't connect, and the stun hits huge. Syntax is able to capitalise. The dart reveals as well the positions that these players are noted. The knife will shut down Cypher, but there's no Cypher trap set up. But what is set up is the nade to collect, and Jamal connects another. And all of a sudden, we're down to 1. It's Devon in a 1 versus 4. Will collect 1. We'll do a TP just to cause some chaos in the minds of VNR, but have to have a big flank position now noted. Ult online, but with the spike being committed, it's almost too much to ask as LSR collects a third, as Iragi holds the spike, and the round is now converted.
Literally 1 HP for them in that one, and I feel like not really much hope at all, as a pivot over towards B seems to be to their detriment, and it was that same thing that we spoke about before. You pair the Cypher with the Deadlock, you have complete lockdown utility, and considering the Deadlock wasn't playing on the B site, yes, the KO ultimate is going to hit the Cypher, but it doesn't matter because the backup util from the other Sentinel is there. Syntax has something to play off of, and they play it to perfection. LSR on an absolute streak right here, 21-10, dominating this game. But Snapter in a cheeky position has to be able to find something as they're mollied out. They're going to peek through as well, but it's going to mean nothing as the flood from BABO is going to get them onto site.
Yeah, and into the shadows invested to try and back that up, but will not convert. The lockdown invested so deep as well, and you have the option of disrespecting it or pushing through for it, and as time dwindles down, 2 seconds to get out of this space, they will not make it, and the defenders now become
No, it's too greedy. It's too greedy.
But it's opened up space. It's fine. I thought they'd get the kill, but you're right, too far away. But it opens up so much space that Babos can capitalize and reposition and really play off of each other in angles that VNR will not be prepared for, and that's exactly what happens as Nesto collects one. Syntax has to push out, but as time dwindles down, the pressure rises, and Nesto collects the prize, and as is the round equalising scoreline.
And it's such a small interaction there, actually. The detain is only got off because of the fact that the Killjoy turret was there. The Killjoy turret on top of that hut slows down both those players, so they can't run fast enough to get out the ult. And the stall of time just gives Babos a perfect position to set up a crossfire, to play off of main together. And right now, this game score just back and forth each time, but it's another thrifty, potentially, for the side of VNR that they're looking to gain through as they have these knives. And LSR just going huge! It's got them 4 off of this play! And just like that, a round that should have been all for the side of Babos is shut down completely by their star player.
There's just nothing you can say when it comes down to that. The kitchen opened, the knives sharpened, and the names collected. LSR with a huge 4K to keep their team and with a fighting chance and put them onto double digits.
And it's just such a prolific round right as VNR needs it. They need to get the momentum. They're down on the economy. They don't want to get to double digits second. They managed to win this one out, and now, with that in mind, Babos trying to make an aggressive play to get themselves in a good stead.
That aggressive play comes off the Hunter's Fury, opens up the space. Rico can capitalise, and Nesto pushes through to positions unknown for VNR, and they needed a hero last round and they got it. And boy, do they need a hero again, and will that hero reveal themselves? The Odin spray trying to come through, the smite will not connect despite hoping that this come through, and the call could easily be converted just to hold back, play for the save, and that's exactly what it is. Allow Babos to get on to 10 and hold on to what guns they have.
5 members left alive still, and off of a round that VNR stole away from Babos. They're not able to convert the round afterwards, and they're not even going to be able to take 2 weapons into it. They're going to have 1 single rifle in the hands of Snapter. And there is a bit of money for them, so they can force into this one. They're going to have the economy for it. With the operator online on LSR, this is a scary weapon to peek into if you're the side of Babos, and this player has been so prolific in this game, has been the winning factor, and the reason this game is even along with Aragi. But they have to do more. They have to carry on this performance.
And it looks like the prey will fall right into the trap. LSR peeking down mid, finds one, Snapter finds another, and LSR brings this down within a second to a 1 versus 3, but Devon does not want to go down without a fight, answers the call back, and makes this situation winnable on what is a huge swing round for the side of VNR's confidence, their economy, and everything in between. Devon has the answers. all utility available. The smokes, the ult, can dodge everything possible.
Dodge
The
the cam?
camera, yep, is used underneath shades of the last map that we've seen Devin do the exact same, just ducking underneath. But Veneer, having pushed up B, will clear the answers, and we're about to see a round robin as Devin's trying to isolate a kill, trying to find where any one of these Veneer players can be hiding to make this a more winnable situation. But
30 seconds
in actual
left.
fact, could just be pushing in to the onslaught from Veneer as they have cleared the angles and start to make their way over to A. They get the signal that this is where it will come down. Devin on the plant will commit now. And this is what it boils down to. The paranoia blinds Devin, but they can play in the smoke. They don't need to peek off of it. And now the answer on site, but Jamal swings and gets the kill as Veneer collect themselves to 11. The op will be saved. And the game is very much on.
And for the side of Veneer there, Devin, sorry, not the side of Veneer, for Babos, Devin was almost in the perfect situation there, and they just didn't know it. They wanted more information. They wanted to find a pick, hoping that the side of Veneer had split apart, but they were so succinct about staying together, about playing this clutch out perfectly, and it's going to be a time out from Babos. The underdogs in this game, very much so. And it's came down to the wire. Both these teams only a couple rounds away from victory. For Veneer, it doesn't mean too much. It's all about seeding for them. But for Babos, it's the difference maker between carrying on in this tournament or waving yourselves goodbye and having to watch the rest of it all alone at your PC.
But I think the thing to highlight, Snow, is that Babos coming into this with the chance to try and secure this playoff match, and they're showing us exactly why they deserve a chance to fight for that position. You had so many people talking about how Veneer stomping the group, looking strong and active, but Babos have came fighting. Babos have came and put a show and said, look, we might be the underdogs, but we want to be involved as well, and they will if they can find a way back into this. Put themselves in a really good stead and a good showing.
I mean, no matter what, this series should go down in Reyna's history. Just the fact it's been so close, there's been so many up and down moments. The highlights have been insane. And Rico, off of the timeout, wants to push the pace again. It seems like Babos, whenever they move forward and whenever they find themselves in these advanced positions, they're able to make something work.
That knife will hit late on A and clear the angles, but it doesn't connect with the sniper. But it's enough to call out the smoke to hold the choke point. But what they don't know is no one has quite yet advanced up on it. Yes, the spike has made its way there. Yes, Devin and Goblin are looking to press the angle, but the deadlock wall will be enough to hold this off even more, and it's going to have to be dealt with if they want to progress their way on site. And as it falls down, the utility stuns up and delays the push perfectly. The lockdown forced out, but Hunter's Fury will swiftly get that one destroyed, and that just cancels the attack. But in the midst of all that, all the space on A has been taken, but Syntex is in a position to capitalise, but misses the first shot as the drop down is taken. And now Veneer half follow through with this 5v5 retake.
And the position that Devin has could have been everything, but Veneer pushing the advantage towards their side, and with the weakened weaponry, I don't think there's much of a chance for this squad of Babos.
Yeah, the fishing ult collects one as well. Jamal holds it front, and now it's all down to Michael. A Guardian in hand will be praying to the Guardians above to get back into this round, but it's not enough as Veneer collect and put themselves onto series point one, away from closing us out and heading to the top of the group.
And Elysium right now has their hands together, praying that this can be closed out for near, that this doesn't go to overtime. And with how everything's been going these past couple rounds, you would expect that to be the case. Operator online, Odin online, LSR is activated. But if there is one player that wants to push the tempo, it is Rico.
And that tempo will be pushed as they force their way out of B checkpoint, but there's two players holding down site, Aragi and Syntex, and they have to be dealt with, and dealt with they are. It's Babos.
It means that we're in a
fight, Snow.
Yeah, we're in a 3 versus 5 retake right now, Veggie. It's a situation where maybe you want to keep this operator. LSR has been so good on this weapon. And it seems like they just want to contain. They're not committing to any push just yet, but that pick could set them off.
Yeah, it opens up the push a little bit. Less angles to be checked through. That one's even better. The paranoia is massive. It's 2 collect, and it's all down to Rico, who falls to LSR, the star player of this Ascent map, is VNR. Collect their winnings and progress to the playoffs.
And VNR, it was an expectation that they would get themselves forward. It was almost undeniable that they were going to be in this playoff spot, and they showed us why. They clean sweep the group, haven't lost a single game, only losing 2 maps, both of them being on Sunset. Other teams are going to be watching, but congratulations to Babos. While you might not be making it to playoffs, you pushed VNR to the edge, and you proved why you should have been in contention.
I think that's the absolutely keyest point that you could pop out. Babos pushing VNR to the limit. A close scoreline on both maps were lost. It wasn't like the strongest map of Lotus for VNR. It wasn't a stomp. It was very close. Babos had their chances to get close to closing that one out as well, but ultimately, having only lost 2 games leading up to that, and unfortunately for them, it's both teams that stand above them in the table. It's VNR and Elysian who will head through in this group.
Yeah, what a factor. What a way to do it for VNR, having to battle through Babos, who, when we spoke about it in the green room, Veggie, we honestly thought they had no chance. We were talking about it, and not no chance, but we were saying that it's very VNR favoured. And then when that Sunset map comes through, we have the 13-5, we were like, my gosh, so close between both of these teams. The fact that Ascent comes down to double digits, a 13-10, it could have went either way. That last round, LSD gets 2 kills through smokes with an operator. It's a situation that shouldn't have happened. It's almost divine intervention, the fact that they were able to find those kills there.
Yeah, but it's also the difference maker that the Jet gives you in comparison to the Neon, right? We spoke about it right at the start of what the most crucial winning factors that we often see coming through from Ascent are, and it was the Op and the Odin. And the team that had the most success with the Operator, VNR. The team that had the most success with the Odin, actually probably Babos. But VNR still got it online and found a lot of success. So when you combine both of them together, it's the winning factor of why VNR were able to come through. I did like how they were playing around with the Neon, but also I'm just not going to say anything else off that one. So just also is where I'll leave that one.
Just also, I mean, it's good to bring out those kind of interesting counter strats and funky compositions. It gives you that advantage. You're more prepped than the enemy team is, but VNR with that deadlock, putting it to great effective use and really showing that maybe you don't need these flash initiators all the time, because they made it work on Ascent with a different comp, swapping out that KO for a deadlock, and it looked so effective.
Absolutely. I think the key part is, like you said, swapping it out for the flash utility and not just trying to play it as a solo sentinel, because you still do need that person that can hold down the site hard. And I think the most impressive part for me when you look at the deadlock in the Cypher was the round where you pointed out where the KO ult was online and they were smart enough to put their utility down on each site and then reverse roles and play the opposite side, so that if that utility was popped, it didn't matter because it wasn't going to hit the player that was going to be affected by it, and you could still play off of both, which they were, and it resulted in, I think, 2 kills coming through.
It was perfect play from that side, but the all-important question now, Veggie, becomes where we are going to be heading into playoffs. We are going to be doing a playoff draw, but we are going to need to take a short little break before that happens. So make sure you don't go anywhere, because we're going to be finding out who's going to be playing who in this playoffs right after this break. Or maybe not. Maybe not, Veg. Maybe we won't be.
First date I was talking my game and she was with her. Had her smiling when the second one came. She catching feelings. By the third date I took her breath away. She sat there giggling. At the end I got nothing else to say. I got a shawty and she bad. Miss get to the bag. Seeker, she just wanna move it fast. And my shawty she bad. On cam, throw it back. Get that bread by any means. Shake that ass. Cause my shawty she bad. She finesse with the cash. Got a mother folks feeding for a man. Really then she got a catch. No cap, but she loving all the ways that I act. Got a shawty and she bad. She told me I'm her type. She on a high when we together in a hyperdrive. She caught a big vibe, this time been like how I be spitting, wanna sit by and lie. All times right there beside me, lie right now. Come down, baby, let's battle, everyone pipe down. Day out, no one can handle, she like to start now. She been the center of attention soon as I pop out. It ain't no regular visit, she live a fast life. Fast life, she don't wanna leave it when it's the pastime. Pastime, she going out drinking, she got her big dreams. She living life like she mean it before she 6 feet under. She live like a demon cause she bad. Miss get to the bag, girl sick and she just wanna move it fast. And my shawty she bad. Off cam, throw it back, get that bread by any means, shake that ass. Cause my shawty she bad. She finesse with the cash, got a mother folks feeding for a man. Really then she got a catch. No cap, but she loving all the ways that I act. Got a shawty and she
said what's up, bitch, what's up? Bitch, try to suck on my dick, on my tip, she's 45, clip the grip of my grip, my hollow point tip, the lip, because it's so on my way, bitch, move it, fuck it up, buckle up with too many bangs, pops flooded up, but what I got in my advance, make a stomach fuck, they keep a strap up on my waist, I got a hollow tuck, like damn, move, out my way, got new money, come on, bitch, stack my paper, leave you sad, sweat it down, catch it, case, new whip, no keys, electric race, like what the fuck, you bitch, you check, you fake, you walk the way, your face, the chaos, shoot your lens, my game, 2 dicks, I pray, you twins, cause I'm blowing nice, bitch, but just don't be talking nothing to my face, you wanna pull it when you get sprayed, fuck that, got 2 dicks, only got 1 for your bitch, and the other with a laser get caged, like you go drift, and you sick, if I took it to your bitch, so I red dot, beat to your face, and my money, making money with your bands, go bitch, fuck away, I'ma pull up when I got you with the cash, like damn shit, what you click, gon' do, wanna slide you clear, what you blink, gon' do, cause you pull up on my line, what your bitch gon' do, come stop my pussy, burn, my wrist gon' do, like damn. Don't leave. I just love the way you got me feeling. Love it, feeling inside you. Take away the pain, baby, I'm healing. Baby, I'm healing. I don't need anything more. Be the waves of the ocean, crashing all over me. I want you.
Anytime you clock a butterfly, I flip a switch, keep a secret, let you come inside. When I run the gamut, but I could never plan it. I keep on breathing when I land it. When I run the gamut, but I could never plan it. I keep on breathing when I land it. If you give me a piece of your heart, you keep easy when we are a part of two worlds. It could be nothing, maybe it's something. Keep your eyes on me.
Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me. Me. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me. Me. Keep your eyes on 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 me.
Anytime you clock a butterfly, you flip a switch, keep a secret, let me come inside. When you run the gamut.
I need to watch out for this people holding his angle. Oh my word!
Still forced to swing and does do so with an updraft. Wolverine not expecting the second one there. Lewis still with the blade is going crazy.
Drop down the operator and pick up the back door. Last round and care. He is not able to get anyone as the counter clash is there. And but the deadlock tries to steal his teammate away, but he's gonna be surviving immediately. With the team play bar, he's just gonna deal some damage, but he's gonna be easily taken out. And OOT just way too aggressive. Ay.
Oh! I see the vision!
Welcome back to the Reyna's Snow. We've just witnessed a banger after banger after banger, and it's time for the draw. The playoffs are in. It's time to get spicy, see how this tournament comes alive.
It is indeed. And I mean, looking back towards these teams that have qualified, it has been a battle in some of these groups. And I mean, some of the main ones you look at, obviously this Group A, BABO's not quite making it. Group B, Yari, they had some really key players that were absolutely dominating the stats, but Oasis Verde so just completely sweep them out. And at the end of the day, it's looking to be a very tough playoff. So I'm excited to see what these matches will be, Veggie.
Yeah, it's going to get tasty. There's no more of these. I mean, not to BM the teams finishing on 0 points, but there's no really any easy games coming in. These teams will have to be on their A game coming in to look at that. And I mean, You just look at that last matchup that we've seen between Babos and what is Veneer? My brain is just going too much. Sorry, I've been awake since like 7. It's been a long day, but the Babos versus Veneer coming in, and that's a team that hasn't qualified. So they're showing how competitive this can be, and every team looking forward is going to be tough.
Yeah, and I mean, when you kind of look at these, I think the only real like group that people are going to be looking towards is Group D. Obviously, a situation happened there in which you got some teams without points, which means that you could maybe consider that the easy group because the teams that got in kind of got a little bit of a free pass in that sense.
Group D, Group D confirmed.
But if you
all the teams,
I'm not in terms of hating all the teams. I know that they are strong teams. I mean, Andromeda Gaming almost just threw their last game that they were playing in. I know we got some chat about it in the green room. We were watching that one. It was a 13-11. It was 12-7 at one point. So they almost threw their last game to put themselves down as the second seed. But in terms of all of these teams going through, I know we've watched a couple of ourselves, and we know that there's some really strong teams here that are going to be battling for the top. So I'm excited to see what we're going to get, Veg. Are you any teams that you're going to be looking out for as kind of teams that all of these ones are going to be trying to avoid?
Honestly, it's all of them. I think Oasis Verde are one key point to look out from Group B. And we've seen Free Orbs versus Team Coalesce. Team Coalesce, a team that we thought were going to come in looking really strong, having built up, and this is their debut tournament. Just about qualifying, they might look at the playoffs as where they can really come alive and thrive. So, but also the way they were just shut down by Free Orbs, I think makes Free Orbs one of the absolute favourites in this tournament. Go on and take it by storm.
Yeah, I think really looking at this kind of playoff group, this seeding that we've had, it's really kind of chopped out that the teams that a lot of people were expecting to be the best have turned out to be the best. Mm-hmm. And you spoke about a team Oasis Verde. I think the important thing to note is that every team that got through as first seed swept their group, and every team that got through as second swept their group apart from the first team pretty much. So it's like these are the strongest teams. It's not anybody eking by on like head-to-heads or round difference points. Like the teams that got through are pretty much 1 and 2 definitively in all of these groups.
Yeah, absolutely. And we won't keep teasing you too much because we're all getting a bit hungry for what these matchups could be. Without further ado, we're going to edge you just a little bit more as we keep talking about these ones. But Snow, is there a matchup that obviously we don't know who's playing, but is there a matchup looking at these two teams that you want to see come to fruition?
I honestly kind of want to see Veneer versus EXO if that happens. I feel like that would be one of those where if it kind of comes through, it's a match of styles where both these teams have looked really good as a team and their cohesion has been great. So seeing those teams battle would be awesome to watch, kind of. But I don't know, Veg. I mean, no matter what, these games should be close. I don't think there's any set like, oh, if this team plays this team, they're going to absolutely dominate them. I feel like it can kind of go either way. We're expecting that the first seed's going to have a very severe advantage going into this.
Yep.
But it being single elimination means that upsets could come through when a team gets knocked out that we're not expecting to really have happen.
Yeah, and I mean, it really does come to just showing up on the day. You could catch a certain team on and off. If you look at Free Orbs, you could potentially catch Petals when they're not performing to their absolute must, and then you can capitalize on that and see yourself through into the next round. I think as it comes up, it will be really close. It's important to reiterate that any of these teams progressing through of the 8, it's very much open doors, and they'll all be looking at each other as how they come through. They'll also be looking back at each other's maps in terms of what the map vetoes should look like, right? And I think that's one that we highlighted earlier on, especially when it comes down to Veneer of just pick Sunset.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. Right? Teams are going to be looking towards Veneer and kind of seeing that team and how they perform today. Sunset's going to look like a bit of a weakness, maybe even a Ascent as well. The fact that map was so close, teams are going to be looking at that and saying, oh, you're You've lost twice on Sunset. Ascent went really close. Maybe that's something that they tried to target. So VNR going forwards, I mean, they've only really got a day or maybe even a couple days to prep. So they have to look at their Sunset now, because if that map comes up, it's definitely a weakness for them.
Yeah, and it's not going in either, right? It's not one of the maps that they can bank on coming out of the pool on like Split. So it is one 100% that they have to pull up. But I believe we are now ready. Drum roll, please. The grand reveal.
Wait! I mean, wow. Okay, some banger matchups here, Veg. I mean, first one that highlights my mind, Free Orbs versus EXO. That's going to be insane. I mean, to be honest, most of these matchups are going to be insane. I think when you're looking at these, VNR versus Team Secret, versus the Secret Club, sorry, is versus Team Secret will be wild. Team Secret just flew over from Pacific to just take place in the Reynas. But VNR versus the Secret Club, great to start us off with. It's very the fact that the Secret Club came in second was actually a bit of a surprise to me in this one. So I feel like this is one of those teams where it's like VNR versus a team that could have came out in that first seed from Group D. So it's definitely a matchup to start with where we could see an upset.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Free Orbs VXO, like you said, but also on the same day, on the 8th of the 6th, Oasis Verde v Team Coalesce, an absolute banger of a day. And that is not one that you want to miss, but like you said, all matches that are really set to be thrillers. And if I'm you, the viewer, I'm tuning in every day at 6 o'clock, apart from the 8th, where I'm tuning in at 3 o'clock, because if you're tuning in at 6 o'clock, you're a little bit too late to the party and you've missed the matches.
And when we look at this, obviously, I love that they've done it kind of to help the viewers, but also us, because our brains barely work. All the first seeds are on the left-hand side. All the second seeds are on the right-hand side, I believe. Yes, it is. So we kind of, we do kind of get, we get to look at an idea of, Veggie, what I want from you is, I've already said for me, VNR versus the Secret Club would be the biggest potential of upset. Can you give me the opposite? What would be the most surprising upset for you?
The most surprising upset? Ooh. Bear with me. Let me analyse this. You put me on the spot here. I'm going to go for Andromeda Gaming versus Elysian. I think Elysian could come out and pick up a victory on that one. My other answer was going to be Coalesce against Oasis Verde. But but you're talking about the most expected. I'm talking about the most surprising. What would be the shocking factor for you if this second seed beat the first seed? What would be the one where you're like, oh, that was not supposed to happen? I don't know, because they're all so close, right? Not like, I don't think any of them would be surprising because the talent is so close on both of them. I mean, maybe the Secret Club against VNR. That's the best that you're going to get out of me. Okay.
I mean, the last little tidbit I'll give for you, Veg, from me is I think Coalesce, at least from what we saw when they played Free Orbs, some definitely weaknesses that they need to shore up. I think Oasis Verde has looked so strong. I think that's really kind of the matchup for me that out of all of these matchups is the one where my expectations go to Oasis Verde the most.
Okay. Well, we'll leave it at that as the conclusion of the Snow Spy's thoughts before we dig any deeper into the inner thoughts of him. It might get a little bit scary.
That would
but
not be wise.
That is going to be all from us tonight, but don't worry, as the Reynas is back in action tomorrow night from 6 p.m. BST for the first of the matches, and it's going to be a banger with VNR versus the Secret Club kicking off the playoffs. That's 6 o'clock tomorrow, live here on the Reyna channel. We'll be back to bring you all the action.
Was that your send-off, Veg?
I need to watch out for this people holding his angle. Oh my word!
Yo, forced to swing and does do so with an updraft read. Not expecting the second one there. Lewis with the blade storm is going crazy.
He needs to drop down the operator and pick up the back though. In the last round, and Care, he is not able to get anyone as the counter flash is there. But the deadlock tries to steal his teammate away, but he's going to be surviving immediately. With the team play card, he's just going to deal some damage, but he's going to be easily taken out. And oh, SB just way too aggressive.
Oh,
I see the vision!